together, but no, Beth, yours goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marbles. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory. Hello everybody and welcome to the second day of the CVRcade group activities. As always, my name is Jesper Anchor, and together with some new ride hosts that we're going to be seeing out on course today, they will be guiding you through all the action, and we will be trying to cater the experience today to everybody who's both riding and who is viewing here on Mixer, because today things are a bit different than usual. We're gonna have racing, but racing will be at the end. We're gonna start with two group rides. We're gonna have Lake Bend, 2 laps up first. Note that this event does not have uncrashable ability, so you can crash. There are not necessarily any corner speeds you've got to worry about, but you can crash on this first event. But you do have a refillable combat kit and 1 quantum shift to help you move on up. Then we move to Rocky Mountains, Lakeview Corner, and Summit Islands. The last 2 events will be racing. Now, to lead this first event here today to lead the first Omnium today here, Zone K, will be Tim Fulford. He was also leading on Thursday, but today we've got him on audio. Tim, what is the expectations for everybody today? What can riders expect?
Yeah, good. Well done for pointing out the uncrashable is not for the first one, but it is the second. I'm going to be super chilled, probably 250 equalized, nothing stupid. Keep us all as a bunch, maybe some pace lines, and then ramp it up towards the end of each, maybe, but unlikely, and then have some fun at the end on a abilities-ridden Summit Island.
Now, we're going to have you on audio throughout the majority of these 2 group rides as we start here, because last Thursday I had the great honor of guiding everybody through it using my voice. Today, Tim, we have you here, and you are actually in the ride controlling it with the leader Super, so whenever you feel like orders need to be dished out, whenever you see somebody doing something they may not be needed to, or somebody needs help, you have the ability to call on out at any point. But what sort of speed? I know you said 250 equalized. What sort of speed initially are we looking at?
Well, the speed will completely depend on the gradient we're on. I'd probably more likely put it in a heart rate zone, somewhere around where my heart rate is at the moment. So there is a 20 meter buffer in front of me, so people can go in front of me if they want, but they can't go crazy in front of me. So just keep it nice and chill. The gradient will kick in a bit, and we'll just work up the hill together.
Keep it nice and chill, work together. Notice that Tim, number 7, on the right-hand side here is the leader. You'll see him on the riders nearby list. He is notified with the little icon next to his name. That is the leader Super. Also in the broadcast today, we've got Casey Shum out of the US of A, rocking the CVR World Cup jersey. I believe you got one of those if you won your zone in the last season ever of the CVR World Cup. Is that correct, Casey?
Yeah, I believe all the zone winners got one, which is basically everyone that was invited to the live final. And then also, I believe there was the other way to get in, which was through the workout session. Those that went to the training camp with you and Tim and Hunter Allen.
That was a good time. That was really, really fun, yeah. Casey. I hope that does happen again at some point, because that was some really good memories. This is your territory as well. I saw you on Thursday in the group ride. We were chatting in the Mixer chat. What was your experience like on Thursday riding these group activities?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun, Jesper. A lot of people come and ask me, you know what, what should I do to get into cycling, to get fit like you and all that. And usually the first thing I tell them is, don't do what I do what's fun for you. And this is fun for me. And that's because of the people in the interaction, not just the racing. So if I focus just on racing and not the other people involved and kind of that banter and that community part, the fun's not there. So to me, that's what's so important about that, and why I enjoy streaming and getting in chat. I've met a lot of great people that I truly call friends, including the CVR team, through my cycling. So that's really what it's about, I think.
Wait, you're fit, Casey? I would never have guessed. Never. Well, glad that you are also in this community. A bright spot for sure. Tim, I am seeing here early on that we're stretching out the pack here. I see you're at the front. You've got Elizabeth, you got Badger with you, but we do have some riders 5-6 seconds down. Are we waiting for them? Do they catch up? What's the orders?
Yeah, we can wait for them on the first lap. I've got no problem with that. I'm just keeping the legs turning over at 4%, so we should have Vanessa and Sweeper. So if anyone gets in real bad trouble, she should be able to pick us up. And a few keyboards in here to sit on without fatiguing, sort of thing. So we just work together as a team.
What's the drafting? What's the drafting objective here? Is everybody going to stay towards on the dashed line, so they staying one lane over? How is everybody ensuring that they stick with the front here and they stay within the group?
So we don't have any wind on this course at the moment, which is quite nice. I'm just going to stay in this lane now, and people can rotate behind me, in front of me, past me, help me, whichever sort of works best for them. And we'll just try and keep it together that way.
Sounds good. Now, we do also have next zone's ride leader here in the broadcast, which is Beth York, who'll be riding zone, or will be leading zone L. Beth, we had the pleasure in the Rise and Rip group ride doing this yesterday. I still haven't forgiven you for 4 laps of leg bend, but what sort of tips can you give to the other riders, riding this group ride?
Well, I think, on CVRcade riding a group ride, it's important to really hold the wheel in front of you. Otherwise, trying to catch up and get the draft, you can waste a lot of energy. So it's a good opportunity. Whoop! Oh, sorry, Nigel. I just got tucked out. I checked my mirrors. Right now, if I was in chat with Nigel, I would have told him I was moving over one. I couldn't see him on the side, the particular camera angle I had. So, and then also on the little climbs, just like in real life, it gets stretched out a little bit. So on those climbs, whoever's leading really needs to, kind of soften up, flatten the hill a little bit with their gears so they can kind of maintain a steady power output, which is really hard to do outside and inside, but it's a good exercise to maintain a constant effort and keep the group together. But this is great. I'm so happy. Tim's doing a great job.
It looks good. It looks more controlled today than it did on Thursday. So we're coming up to the conclusion of the first lap here on the descent. Tim, as we come up to the second lap, will it be more of the same? Will it be the same sort of speed, 250? Is there any changes, or are we just keeping it consistent?
I've averaged 230 so far, so I think I'm happy with that, and I'll stay there. Just for this first one, we're going to lose some cohesion going downhill, probably because everyone goes downhill differently. But we'll try and keep it together, regroup at the bottom, and go again.
The pleasure of having a broadcast here is that you can have live feedback from the riders in the pack, so we can make the rounds here and see. You heard Beth say she thinks Tim is doing a fantastic job so far. We've got Jennifer also in here currently. Jennifer's second group ride. What do you make of Tim's leading abilities today?
Much better. I'm very impressed. I actually did crash. I'm glad that you didn't see it. I suppose I could have gotten away with it. But I think the sweeping is working better today as well. So.
And no wind seems to be helping too, at least from the looks of it.
Yes, definitely.
So the pace, you're happy 250, you don't want it to go higher, you want to keep it here, you've already crashed once?
Well, yes, and also because there are races today, I actually do want to treat this as solely a group ride. So, for once, I do not want the pace to be up.
I see. I know you've got Summit Islands in your sight. Everybody, Jennifer said she's going to win that one. Nobody else bother even turning up. So good luck to everybody else. And on that note, we'll move on to somebody else. Sorry, Jennifer. We'll move on. I think we've also got Badger in here, who's down in 12th, who is somebody who also rides the Rise and Rips in the early mornings on Mondays and Fridays. Badger, how are you currently finding the group ride pace and the cohesion in the group?
Hey, Jesper, I'm enjoying it. It's good to be riding together. I have to say, I'll address the elephant in the room. We've obviously got a virus that's ravaging and scaring the heck out of the planet. That's got a lot of people at home. And people having something fun to do at home seems absolutely great to me. So being in a group ride, and probably even this weekend or for a couple weeks, as opposed to being in a hardcore competitive race, really feels right to me. To be out here, as opposed to focused on where am I going to finish, what's my point total, oh, I'm happy or I'm disappointed. Instead, riding with some nice people, but also being a little bit of a data geek and saying, as I approach Frank here, can I get into his draft without bumping him? Can I get my draft above 50% if I pedal smartly? And the answer to that is, yeah, I bumped him. I've got room to improve, but I'm drafting at 67%, and I probably can't do too much better than that. So working on those types of skills, as opposed to racing type skills, especially as a newbie like myself who's been on the platform maybe a month or so, I find this a lot of fun.
It definitely looks like a lot of fun out there, Batcher. So 67%, that is quite a difference you're getting as well. That is saving wattages. It's saving power you don't have to put out. And that's where the realistic drafting dynamics do come into play. Thank you, Batcher, for the feedback as he bumps Frank once again. So you do get this little tiny bit of an accordion effect here. When somebody on the front breaks, somebody on the back tries to come on through. It's all exciting news. But speaking of exciting news, look at our Frenchman on the screen. Sorry, look at our Brit on the screen right now. Ben Shuilong. Ben, that is an awesome kit.
Thank you. The New Jersey ride at long last. So yeah, I can rock the proper kit now.
Is there any way we can show the back side without you taking the whole shirt off? Oh, and it's out of frame.
Does that work?
Nice try. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. 6 points purely based on the effort. So that was solid. No, Ben, that is awesome. I know you and Team Hive have been working on those kits for a bit, and they come on through. They really look good. Now, we've heard from the rest. We've heard what Jennifer thinks. We heard what Beth, what Batcher thinks. What do you think of the group ride so far? Are you happy with 250 equalized watts? Are you happy with the pace? Or do you want to see it increased or decreased as we go on to the next event?
No, I think it's a good pace, because if you want to stay, if you want to work a bit harder, you just put your nose in the wind, and then you're in sort of zone 3 or whatever. And if you want to have a bit of a rest, you just tuck in behind everyone else and have a little bit of a breather or hit a power up or something. So this is my first group ride. But yeah, I'm enjoying it, It's nice to have a chat with everyone. Makes a change, for sure.
You definitely get to learn a bunch of things. And see, ModKG says pretty good twisting, Ben. So she agrees with the 7 out of 10 assessment there.
ModKG.
So we'll give it a round. See Feline Robin is in the chat. Welcome as well. You're watching CVRcade Physical Esports, physical fitness from your home, riding your bike online, free to play, just like the rest are here. We've got 18, 19 riders from all across the world riding in unison here with Tim Fulford, the leader. Tim, on Thursday, we did see on Cade Peak a few of the riders trying to sprint at the very end to try and win the group ride. What's the philosophy on that?
I might just stop 21 minutes, 21 meters before the finish, and just see everyone smash out 1400 watts just to try and push me over the line. But yeah, like they're fenced in, so if they want to, as Ben said, they go put their nose in the wind or buff up against that barrier. It's just good to get everyone keeping everyone together, getting some draft. And if you want to lash it at the end, by all means, but there's not really the supers to do it, and there's not really the distance to do it either. But
we've
I'm
also
getting a nice
got.
draft, so
I was gonna say, as the leader here, you're getting the absolute best deal sitting there. Nobody can go in front of you. No one can really go behind you, as Vanessa either. But as this one is coming to a conclusion, we have 1 kilometer left. It's been flawless so far. Rocky Mountains does have a hill in it. How do you intend on keeping the group together as we conquer Rocky Mountains Hill twice?
I'll just keep an eye on the nearby riders list. It's actually not as steep as the Lake Bend Hill, so I think it'll be easier for people to stay together. And we'll just see what we can do, really. If I call for a slowdown, I expect we'll all slow down. So we'll keep the group together.
Well, technically, you have full controls if you do want to slow down. So that's the benefits of having the super cold leader in the game. So these riders are able to stick around each other in this group ride thanks to something called physical equalization. So not only is this game free to play, but you're getting equalized in a group ride like this. So Casey, who's on the screen right now, Tim, Jennifer, they're all producing a very similar effort out on the map as you now see Elizabeth Thompson and Homer Thompson, a married couple here trying to sprint for the line. Homer opted not to be on stream today. Unfortunately, he wasn't feeling so well, but it looks like he's gotten over the buck here as him and Elizabeth are both sprinting to win here at the very finish line. Who is it going to be? You look from above and we see who the celebration comes from. Who's celebrating? I don't see it quite yet. Everybody's looking on the screen. Casey goes, who won that? Oh, I see a celebration. I think, is that Wim? I'm not sure who that is. I think Wim may be the one celebrating. Casey, oh, that's what Casey was doing. There's the W. I get it now, Casey. So congratulations, Wim. But physical equalization, making it possible for everybody to have a shared experience while staying at home. Like, it's very important to stress that you don't have to get in a car, you don't have to get on a bus, you don't have to get on a train or an airplane for that sake. You can have this set up in your home somewhere, jump on, and then free to play ride with the rest. But Casey, talk me through that finish line, because Homer Thompson and Elizabeth seem to instigate that bit of a sprint to the line. What does that feel like?
Yeah, we all had fun there. I thought there was a little more room to run, so I kind of sprinted and had momentum going around me, but then I slammed into that 20-meter wall, and it actually slows you down the harder you hit it, so I kind of bounced off of it. But yeah, it's fun. I mean, just messing around a little bit. I do like for the devs or for the organizers, the 20-meter feels better than the 10-meter because we can actually get in front of Tim. If at 10 meters, if we get 3 or 4 people in front of Tim, the front guy's bouncing off the wall and Tim's bouncing off of us. So Tim has to be really careful about his lane choice when the 10-meter wall's up. The 20-meter wall gives us enough room to mess around, and it feels a little better in the game. So, but this is fun. Yeah, that was a good time.
I know what you're saying there, though. You like the 20-meter gap only because you keep trying to break the fence. I saw what you did on Thursday. I know you were just hammering away, trying to break down that wall. So far, you've been unsuccessful, Casey, but what do you think the secret is going to be to breaking down the fence?
I need to send Renee a care package, and I think I can break the wall. I think that's the trick.
I think that care package better be quite large if you really do intend on breaking down the fence. But Casey, cheers for that. We got 4 minutes to go here before we start the next event. Let's see, Elizabeth. Now, I think the team is also discussing whether or not to bring down this time gap between events. If we can go and chat, I think Ben may be a good one. I see Ben first on up here on my list. Ben, what do you think of the 6-minute gaps here in between events on a group ride? Do you like it? Do you want it shorter? What do you think?
I think on a group ride we could definitely afford to make it shorter, but please don't make it any shorter on the races.
So did I hear that right? You want it shorter on the races, but longer on the group
No.
rides. That's what I heard. Well, guys, you all have Ben to thank for that. Suddenly he gets his new kit, and now he gets confident.
No, you heard me wrong.
No, I got it. Thank you, Ben, for that feedback. Let's go and chat with Jennifer as well as she sits further back down in this group, one of her favorite maps. Jennifer, what do you think of the length between maps?
Yeah, I definitely think it could be a little bit shorter. With the group rides, I really like them because you can get like consistent low watt exercise. And then when we have these breaks, you can't do that as much. So I definitely agree that the gap could be smaller. But then again, I could also just sprint like everyone else at the end of the, the first group ride and then want the break. So
That's very true. I think somewhere Homer and Elizabeth are both like, so thankful that it's a 6-minute gap in between. No, thank you for that, Jennifer. Tim, 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Some people here out of the gate, some accelerate quick, some slow it down. What's the right technique out of the gate? Do you even need to sprint to stay with you?
No, I'm not going to sprint out the gates when we're doing group rides. I'm not a massive fan of it in races because it puts me into sort of like the red zone before we've even got going. So if I can avoid it, I will. So yeah, we'll take a chilled approach out. We've got Uncrashable here, so we should be able to bunch up real tight and fly up this hill.
Got it. Thank you, Tim. 1 minute and 50 seconds here before we start the second event of Zone K. It's good to see so many riders out here, both physically and non-physically. Wim, who was first across the line and won the last group ride, is in here on a keyboard. We've got Glenn Hebelink, who's in here, who's become one of the community's fan favorites. He's out here as well. And we got several riders. Now, Nigel Doyle did want to be in the broadcast. He was scheduled to be in here and get our daily Down Under report, but I'm not sure what's happened to the garage where Nigel Doyle rides CVRcade, because he turned on and then it was just like all pixelated. So I do like, we all remember this, the celebration from Nigel Doyle, iconic, one of the very, very best. But 1 minute before we go here, we heard Badger briefly just chat a tiny bit about the world situation that's going on. It's quite interesting. It's quite strange walking into the world that we are in now. We're hitting different times, but I like what we're seeing here with the community bonding together, all chatting. I saw a post from Daniel LeBlanc as well on Instagram after Thursday's events, where it was the first time we did the CVRK group activities, and Daniel was like, "This is amazing. This community comes together. We can all chat. We race hard when it's race time, but when it's group ride time, we can all put it together here." So I see chatting through with the team. There might be some alterations in how Rocky Mountains is going to be ridden. What's in the plan here, Tim?
No change of plan. We're just going to ride it normally for the first lap. But if I talk to you and say we're going to up the pace a little bit, we might up the pace a little bit.
Okay.
So I'll keep talking to you, don't worry.
So if you do up the pace, what's the expected, what can people expect when you try and change it up, if you change it up?
Oh, I'm expecting full stem-biting sprints, Jesper, on and off, maybe like some 40-20s or something like that. Just see how many people we can pluck off at once. No, it'll be gentle, it'll be sort of 30 seconds on, couple of minutes off or something like that. But we'll try and keep the group together as much as possible, and just make sure everyone's got a wheel to follow.
Got it. So we'll make sure to keep your audio open if that ever changes as we're out here. But it looks like everybody is staying together. So there's two different ways of using audio communication. So on Beth's Rise and Rip group rides, we use the in-game audio on current track. Now here today, here in Zones K and L, we're using the broadcast in order to share the information around. So there is a slight delay between broadcast and the game, but if you're listening, you should expect that you'll hear it when it happens to you. You'll see it as well. But very, very different experiences. Both are very fun. I'm very, like, I can tell you right now, I'm standing here and all I want to do is jump on my bike and join the rest of the CVRcade community. As you can see, all the different colors, different jerseys, different skins. As you've got Team 3R's Badger out there, you got CVR World Cup Jennifer Garcia, Team Cycling Hub Casey Shum, Frank Garcia in the green, got Homer Thompson in the blue over on the right. So several different colors on display here. Now this is a longer event. It's 15.5 kilometers in total, 2 laps of Rocky Mountains, but you've got the ascent and then you've got the descent after it, so you can rest a tiny bit on that. But so far, Tim, it looks like everybody is with you. Has Vanessa so far, has she been doing a good job on the sweeper?
As far as I can see, yep, she's a couple of seconds off the back, so should be dragging everyone else with. If anyone wants to jump in front of me, by all means, I don't mind at all. Don't all jump at once. It's fine. No, it's cool. Yeah, we'll just keep tapping it along. And I've averaged 244 at the moment, so that's where I want to keep it.
So how do you know what you've averaged so far?
Because I have it on my roam. It's not equalized watts, but the nature in which my equalization works, it's quite close. So that's generally how I keep an eye on it.
Got it. Well, interesting little bit of feedback there to check a look. I see Ryan Goldenberg has joined, and I'm kind of sad we don't have Wim in the broadcast here, because Wim has 2 machines on at the same time. Wim has one on his PC, which is the keyboard, and then he has one on his Xbox. So Wim Moisen is definitely a connoisseur who is trying to change things up. He's trying to change the way the game is being played. He's got both the rider who is first on the road in this group ride and the rider who's last on the road. So Wim taking some interesting measures into account here as we are climbing once more. Tim, when you get to the steep section, some may be inclined to push on the pace. What's the policy once we reach the top of Rocky Mountains?
Yeah, by all means, as we've discussed in Lake Bend, you're more than welcome to push on the pace, but you're not going to get more than 20 meters in front of me, so do it at your peril, sort of thing. But we'll keep the chain tight, and I'll just move up on the outside here so that people can keep moving forward smoothly.
And people also have the quantum shift. If they want to change lane and they get stuck, they don't have to brake. They've got the quantum shift. Now, is that, I believe it's refillable, or is it a one-time thing, Tim?
It's completely refillable, so as long as you've got a space in your 4 power-ups, you should be continuing to get those. Both Comeback Kid and Quantum Shift are refillable, so use as you wish and hope to get some more.
I just realized as well, if you do want like a bit of a harder workout, you just stay out of the draft, and you can kind of go pretty hard. Like I see you're doing right now 330, 340. I mean, that looks pretty tough.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep everyone happy, so I'll be hopefully not yo-yoing around too much.
Got it. Well, looks like everybody is off to the front here and everybody is staying in. More cohesion today than Thursday. I see we've got JCLIY in the chat as well. Thank you for joining us. What you're watching is CVRcade. It is a physical esports platform. We usually race here on the broadcast where we have $30,000 up for grabs, where riders from their home can ride their own bike on a turbo trainer, connected that in through a PC, or soon connect that via Xbox physically, and then they race. The harder they go in real life, the quicker their avatar in the game moves. And they've got all this gamification where they can change the lanes, they can go left and right, they can try and optimize their drafting, like Jennifer right now here at the back. She's using her Comeback Kit Super to get back in, and then the the cherry on top, the crown jewels, is physical equalization. So you don't have to be Lance Armstrong, you don't have to be Chris Froome, you don't have to be a Tim Full for that sake to be competitive or to be within a shot of riding with these riders. Your 100% is equal to somebody else's 100%. So if Badger is attacking in a race or here in a group ride, riding around 260 equalized watts, as long as you ride 260 equalized watts, you'll be going similar pace in the game. There are different factors that factor in, such as your lane choices, your drafting, your super usage, the weather, the wind, the gradients, all these things, all these nuances. But once you get the basics of the game down, that it basically comes down to how hard can you pedal, which lane are you in, where you are at the map, and then all the rest is additional information that you can pick up, as we see Timothy and Glenn both using their quantum shifts near the front here. Now, we do see all of Team Hive here on display. We've got Ben, we've got Glenn, we've got Jennifer, we got Kayla, we got Timothy Tamont out here. Now, Jennifer, I hear the team has been team bonding over the last few days, playing some late night Call of Duty. Is that helping the team? Is that making your team better on CVRcade?
Oh, absolutely. Killing it in Call of Duty and killing it in CVR. We have two things to do now. No, it's been super fun. The new Warzone just came out, so of course, what else would we be doing?
Who's the best Call of Duty player amongst you guys?
Oh, so easy. Glenn, hands down, carries everyone.
Wow.
So, no contest. I am definitely the worst.
It's a shame Timothy isn't in here, because I feel like that's a claim Timothy would dispute with heavy hand remarks.
He don't like to say that he carries us, but...
Ooh, sounds like it was supposed to be team bonding. It sounds like the team is falling apart. Who knew? Who knew the secret was Call of Duty Warzone? No, it's all good. All teams do different things. I respect that. I think it's funny. I think when the racing kicks up back up again, maybe that'll be the secret that glues the team together. Thank you for that insight, Jennifer. That Glenn Heppelink is the carrier on that team. I wonder if any other team has been taking up team bonding experiences, because in these times it's not like you can go play paintball at the range or go bowling. Not that you would do that anyway with your virtual cycling team, but you know, things to do to bond the team together. We got Casey on the stream here. Casey, Team Cycling Hub, is it just pure business for you guys? You show up, you race hard, you win or you lose, or do you spend time together outside the platform too?
Well, we chat quite a bit outside the platform. You know, building a good bond. You know, it's a good mix of people in our team. You know, there's one of my teammates is actually the same age as my middle son, going to university for the same degree. You know, it's a very interesting dynamic. But yeah, I mean, we've bonded. I call those guys friends now, and we have a lot of fun outside the platform chatting too.
I like how you call them friends now. What did you call them before?
Well, I've always been friendly with them, for sure. But I may not call Tim a friend, you know, in these next two events. But you know, we'll rebond when we're done.
Did you ever show that bottle throw clip to your family? Did they ever get to see that?
So my wife and my father both follow the CVR website, so I didn't need to show it. My wife came in about a day later and she's like, "Did you have a bad race yesterday?" I'm like, yeah, maybe.
Such a loaded question when she's already seen the evidence.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. You should say, you know what, love? You should try jumping on once and I'll ask you that question afterwards.
Yeah, we're going to work on a setup for my daughter to ride next to me in some of these rides. I think we're sheltered in place by our state government till April 7th. So I'm going to try to get her alongside of me a little bit here sometime.
That'd be cool. I think that'd be really awesome, Casey. So I look forward to seeing that. Hopefully that happens. You know, also with the group rides, it should be less of an intimidating, you know, environment to jump into. I mean, this looks quite friendly.
Yeah, and with equalization, I mean, I've got a speed sensor and a dumb trainer and a comfort bike. She should be able to beat up on her dad once she gets equalized properly.
Are you gonna give her, you know, the bike you laid down in? Is that what she's gonna be riding?
No, she's got. I've actually got a bike down here for her. The bike that I lay down on doesn't fit on the dumb trainer. It only fits on the kicker. So we'll probably put her on the fluid trainer. But it'll be fun. I've had her on before. She will have a conversation with me at 202, 204 heartbeat, like real heartbeat. And everybody's like, holy cow. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what her max is, but I mean, she's been at 205 and talking to me.
I remember that too. My sister back in the day got on the bike as well, and she was at 220, and she was still like, she wasn't really happy with me because I entered her into a race when I told her it was a group ride, but I remember 220 and still yelling at me, and I'm like, I'm never going to cross her again. That's the most frightening thing I've ever seen. I'm out of here. And so I moved to the UK. No, that's cool, Casey. Hopefully we get to see the Shum family expand. Would she also be a member of Team Cycling Hub?
Maybe, yeah. We'll have to see.
You can hear the hesitation in Casey's voice. It's like, another one? No, I think we're we're good. All good, Casey. I see you're moving back and forth. Tim, the first lap is coming to an end. What's the verdict on the first one? Were you happy with how that was ridden?
Yeah, we got a little bit elastic on the descent as everyone sort of took their own pace, but generally, on my nearby riders where there's 15 of us, we're all within a second of each other, so I'm kind of happy with that. We'll try some more efforts up these hills, but I'll call them based on probably the elapsed time for this race, which I have in the bottom left-hand corner. So I don't know if you guys have that as well, but we'll try that.
Maybe kilometers to go might be better, like distance remaining, something that people have up.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we can try that.
Because that, like, the leader is the same for everybody, regardless if they have the time widget up. Because I know everyone has different widget configurations, but I'd assume that everybody rides with their riders nearby list open. But what does your widget configuration look like, Tim?
So I have comms in the top right, nearby riders down the right-hand side, the normal bottom bar, and then on the left I have laps, best lap, current lap, elapsed time on course, and then the map and a rear view mirror. That's it. Pretty minimal.
Got it. No wacky colors, no different, color themes. Gordon, green, yellow.
So it's a navy blue. It's a very dark blue.
So it is different. We are rocking the black one on the screen right now, the standard one. Definitely different people, different taste, but it looks like I might be holding you back here, Tim. So that's on me. I see Tim getting blocked by a few riders. So that one is on the broadcast team, everybody. But Tim is gonna increase the pace here again. So what estimated? Now, see, kilometers to go doesn't really work for everybody either, because I know Homer has it in miles. But I think we'll just go with kilometers to go because it's visible on the stream. But roughly when, Tim, can they expect any efforts?
What we'll do is, out of this next corner, we'll do an acceleration.
Okay, for how long?
Everyone knows what this is. As long as people want. I think we'll stick it to 20 seconds. Not all out, but just like you're building a breakaway. Come around this corner and launch something, and then we'll regroup.
Okay, everybody, Tim's going to try an increased effort as you turn left here for roughly 20 seconds. So if you're hearing this next left-hand turn as they come around, increasing the pace for 20 seconds. So make sure to stay with it here. There is Vanessa, who is the sweeper at the back, so you will not be dropped. And there is Tim on the front, who's the leader. You will not be across him. If you need help, you've got the comeback kit. You've got quantum shifts to come on through. So now the effort has started. Tim has upped it here. He's going pretty hard here at 1,000 equalized watts. He wasn't kidding when he said effort. Badger's there too. Ben, Elizabeth is upping the watts. So this is just for 20 seconds. So keep an eye. Count in your head. Looks like Tim has brought it back down now. So bringing it back down again now to roughly, what are we looking at here, Tim, once you complete your effort?
250 again, so where we were before. We'll just regroup.
Do we have elapsed time? So I may hear that elapsed time may be easier, so if what we can do is you can just do a quick check here, just make a quick survey in our broadcast here if riders have got elapsed time open. Ben, do you have elapsed time open?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, that's one. Let's go to Badger. Let's see, Badger, do you have elapsed time open?
Yes, I do.
So it sounds like the majority. Let's go to Beth York and see if she has that one. So it may just be us here in the broadcast booth that do not use it. Beth, elapsed time?
Yeah, I'm good.
Wait. What's the music?
Oops, sorry.
What's the music? Is that your husband?
This isn't my husband. No, wow. I might have had 12 seconds of free time of not violating a license.
No
I turned it right down.
I was just working. I know we talked yesterday about your husband's fundraiser and everything, so I just assumed that was you trying to slide it into the broadcast, but no, not so smooth. No. Nice try, though, Beth.
I can do that, but yeah. I have the right. I have his permission to use his music.
3 for 3 so far. Let's do the finals. Little spot check. Jennifer Garcia, do you also have elapsed time open?
No, but it's okay.
Well, you cannot. If you got access, if you've got the access to the computer, you can turn it on. But otherwise, I think we'll just have somebody count down live on the stream.
Yeah.
Everybody in unison counting down from 10. That could be funny.
That's what I would like to see.
That's going to be so off sync that it's going to be hilarious. But 3 for 4, I think that is enough of a spot check to say that we can try elapsed time for the next effort, if there's going to be another effort. Is that what are you currently thinking, Tim?
Yeah, we'll put an effort in when it gets to 19 minutes of elapsed time. And that'll be a good test to see when people go. But that'll probably be around the same time as we hit that little kicker. So push it up the kicker or at 19 minutes, whichever is best for you.
Got it. I hear Badger wants to tell a story, so we can go to Kevin. Badger, floor is yours. The microphone is open.
Thank you very much, Jesper. And I have to say that when Casey was chatting, it reminded me of something. Casey and I have been kind of on and off platforms together for a couple of years. Wouldn't put us in the deepest rival category. He's normally a better racer and a faster person than I am on other platforms and also on this platform. So, but probably rivals before friends, but certainly not enemies by any stretch. The point to this story is some of the exciting stuff that can happen online. Is the team that I'm currently riding for, 3R, does some charity work. Over the years, it's raised money for Right to Play, a charity in Nepal, currently World Bicycle Relief. And at the time we were doing it for World Bicycle Relief, it was a 24-hour ride, non-stop individual riders. Some people rode 12 hours, some people rode 14 hours. This people rode, I think, 22 and a half hours. To say at the end of that, as I was targeting whatever it was, 800 kilometers in 24 hours or something like that. Not that I'm great, that's not the point. The point is, I was absolutely falling to bits. And then out of nowhere, for it must have been a good 2-hour period, Casey Shum, middle of the night, his night if I remember correctly, got on and pulled us, or maybe even just pulled me, for 2 hours and basically stopped me from falling apart, and instead gave me extra energy, gave me some draft, and helped me raise money for charity. Things like that happening, I think, are absolutely phenomenal, and they go towards those types of bonds that Casey was alluding to when he was chatting. So I hope that was worthwhile sharing, especially given the environment that we're in. I probably should breathe now, though.
I was going to say, that was very impressive. Both the 24-hour bike ride, but also telling a story while sitting at relatively high heart rate. Thank you very much, Badger, for the story time. And I think everybody has at least one or another stories. I think I kind of want, this is not going to turn into a Casey Shum appreciation stream, even though I know how much Casey would love that. Beth is in here as well. And I think Beth, I noticed she's got a good Casey Shum story as well. Oh, she's got plenty. We're not talking about the one with the knife in the back. We're talking about, you know, the the broadcast where Casey stood next to you and guided you through the race. Is that correct?
Yeah. And, all true, like, definitely friend first and never, I mean, all joking aside, you're in the heat of the race and you feel that, but I love Casey. We were in Paris or LA, I think LA. And, he was just sort of that sage voice of quiet in my ear, kind of saving me from myself. Because sometimes in a race, you can get overamped and you can waste energy. And that's the same, I think, why he's so good on this platform, too, is that he just understands sort of his physiological boundaries. And he was watching mine and telling me when to push a little bit, telling me when to hold back, telling me how to time my sprint. And I will tell you, deep in the hole of like, I don't even know where I am on course. He just, was just such a great coach for me. And with his tutelage and guidance, I was able to pull off a podium spot in a real world CVRcade World Cup event. So, massive talent, forever friend. And we can still have fun with each other on racing and have those little battles. And, those aren't real knives. Those are things that happen in racing that make you a better racer because you learn from other people's tactics. So it's good to be riding here and not racing. But yeah, that's my story. That's one of them.
No, good times. Now a word from our sponsors, everybody. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Casey Shum. If you've got a Casey Shum in your life is already so much better. But you heard from a few of the riders in here. Just use the promo code CaseyShum at CaseyShum.com and you can get a free Casey Shum today. So just having a bit of fun, guys. 1.2 kilometers to go here. Wim won the first group ride, and say that with heavy quotation marks. Who's going to win the second one? I know a few riders, or at least I know Frank is already sitting up and waiting for the sweeper function as Elizabeth at 206 equalized heart rate. She's been pushing hard here, and looks like Homer and Elizabeth, maybe, they put a wager down. Whoever gets the best placings of the day does not have to, make dinner, doesn't have to. I don't know what's going on here because the two of them is like going absolutely all out here. And you can see how the fence is affecting Elizabeth. Once she pushes it too far, it pulls her back a tiny bit as everybody comes on back here. As we see Casey Shum, everyone trying to just accelerate a tiny bit as they're all jockeying for position. This is just as antsy as a race will be, and we will have two races after this, Lakeview Corner and Summit Islands. Let's see what happens towards the finish line. They got a left-hand turn. Elizabeth is at 210 equalized heart rate, trying to push away here. She is relentless. Nobody can stop her as she pushes on through. Homer Thompson as well with 1,000 equalized watts. It's his turn to push on through. What's gotten into the Thompsons today? This is brilliant to watch. But, he's going to get pulled back ever so slightly. You got Allison Kubota. It's 100 meters to go. They hit the fence. I think Tim is letting go here. I think Tim is holding up. And it's like a slow-mo line. And I think it was a rider on the left. We wait for the celebration. Who celebrates? Oh, I can't see just yet. Oh, we're going to cross the finish line in like 10 seconds. Oh, anyone? It was none of these guys. Oh, it's Timothy? I think Timothy wins that one based on the avatar celebrating, so having fun. But let's get ready for some real races. You can see the speed of the sweeper here on the screen. This is Vanessa's curve that we also had the pleasure of using as the camera, guys. This is what the racers and the riders see after each event. Now we'll be heading to the next event, which is Lakeview Corner. We'll have Uncrashable as an ability, and it will be 3 laps long. This is going to be interesting. Now, we do have the controllers in here and the keyboards. Since Tim is the ride leader, we'll let him make the decision. Tim, we do have Wim, we do have a few of the keyboard riders and controllers. Do they race this one? Do they sit back? What's the ruling?
I think they're all right. They're going to go way up the road, and there's going to be no scoreboard at the end of it, so they don't get any points and they don't get any glory. and we all know that they're just on a keyboard. So there's no harm done, I don't think. I mean, if you are a controller and you are a keyboard, maybe don't sit in with the physical people. Either sit out the back or go out the front. But we're all inclusive here, and we're all here just to demonstrate that CVRcade can do both. So I don't see why not, and it might pull some harder efforts out of people. It certainly does from me. So let's enjoy it. Just let's keep everyone have a clean race, I think.
I would put heavy money on Homer and Elizabeth Thompson to give this one a good go based on their prior experience today here. They've been flying 4.5 minutes, and this is where, now these are races, but you do not have to race them. At the top of the hour, 15 past the top of the hour, Zone L begins, and we'll have Lake Bend again, we'll have Rocky Mountains again. So if you are here for the social camaraderie and the group rides, you do not have to race this. You can ride it like you would, but some will race it. So anticipate once the gate drops. Casey Shum, Tim Fulfer, Ben Shuilong, Jennifer Garcia, Badger, Beth. A lot of the riders in here will go. If you don't want to do it, you do not have to. There's nothing on the line. But if you do want to give it a go, well, we're going to be broadcasting this one like it was a race. And after this is Summit Islands. Let's hear from the contestants. So you know where my money is? Elizabeth Thompson. I think that's the dark horse for this one. I know that Jennifer was looking forward to the set of races here. Jennifer, are you saving up for Summit Islands, or are you going to give this one a go?
Great question. I don't know how much faith I have in myself on Summit Islands, but I heard there's a Razor's Edge ability. So this might be my comeback story. Yeah, I actually don't know the corner speeds on this one. So I'm probably gonna go for Summit.
Uncrashable is an ability, so you cannot crash in this one. So corner speed should keep you safe.
Good to know. I'm glad I won't be braking unnecessarily.
How does Racer's Edge make Summit Islands easier? Yes, you go quicker, but do you know the corner speeds on Summit Island?
I do have a map for Summit Island, yeah. I don't know, I just love it. Ever since I did Sidewinder with Razor's Edge, I'm a huge fan. And I think on that map, I'm usually kind of, I don't know, like disgruntled and a little discouraged. But I think with the Razor's Edge, it could be the thing I need. So...
I'll be looking forward to it. Let us know in the chat if your money is on Jennifer Garcia for this race or the next race. Your money may be well spent saving it for the next race by the sounds of things. We've got Beth York in here as well. Beth, make your 10-second, quest to the viewers. Why should they bet on you? Or why should they not bet on you? Either way.
Well, I have to say I'm balancing my fuel sources today with something natural sugar, and it depends on when I move on over. This is not an advertisement for the brand, but for the chocolate pudding flavor. So if I say chocolate pudding, put your money on me. Because that means it's working.
Is that the safe word? I got it. No, Beth,
code word.
I feel like
high fructose corn syrup.
The natural sugars there are just a decoy. You're like, look, guys, I can be healthy too, and they never get touched. They're just like every stream, like, look, guys, it's the same thing getting showed every stream.
No, so I am really trying to be cognizant, and I think everybody should, of natural vitamin C. It's good for the immunity. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that there's good stuff in citrus fruits if you can get them. So eat up.
Eat up. Casey Shum was the undefeated racer on Thursday. Comes into this as the heavy favorite at the top. But Casey, you going to be racing this one?
I mean, we'll ride hard. I'm at, 2.5 hours into my ride now, so we'll see how this goes. But we'll have some fun here. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I was going to give Beth a hard time. I think those oranges were just like the plastic oranges that came off her dining room table, right?
I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I'm also enjoying my mix of food here. I've got some Stroop waffles for my buddy Timothy. I just got done eating some fruit snacks. We got granola bars, a little Gatorade. We're fueling well here.
So if your money's on Casey Shum, you got 20 seconds before the bank closes, before the table goes down, the dealer deals the cards. We'll see who it's going to be in 15 seconds. We also got Ben on the stream. We've got Tim, who's going to be unleashed. We have got Wim, who will be a Derny rider out here on the map. I think sneaky suspicion is Badger may actually be a wild horse for this as well. I remember seeing him on Lakeview Lanes when he was up here very recently. He's been strong. Frank Garcia from the gun here, also accelerating on through. So this is a race. This is for bragging rights. This is for fun. You have Uncrashable in his ability, and they push on through here. 13 riders take to the start of the race, and it's Frank Garcia who leads it off early here at 700 equalized watts. He's absolutely pushing it, but here comes Wim. He's on a controller. He's helping out somebody further down. Badger in 6th place, together with Tim Fulford in 7th. As they move to the left, they move to the right, and they try and just find that bit of drafting, optimizing their draft, optimizing their lane choices, and Frank is up against the controller here. So Frank has initiated a breakaway, but the lead rider in the pack behind him is Wim Moisen. Now, Frank may be cursing Wim 7 nights to hell here because Wim is just slowly upping the pace, but it's not enough just yet. Frank looks relatively set here at 3 seconds off the front. 3 kilometers is all he's got left. It's a short race. If you can keep up the pace, you've got a chance. As we see Tim Fulford here in 6th with Casey in 7th. Ryan, Allison, Glenn. It looks like Timothy has dropped out of the racing here, so maybe after hearing Jennifer's comment regarding Call of Duty, he maybe went back and just had to prove himself. We'll see as Tim Fulford sits back here, and Frank has been caught. Frank has been caught by Wim Moisen on the front, and now how is this going to pan on through? Frank not happy with Wim taking out Wim. Just going, if you're going to take me out, I'm going to take you out in the process, pal. And he's like, come with me into the principal's office. It's this way, Wim. So Frank letting go of this race. He'll be looking towards the next one. Now, we did let the right leader decide the philosophy on the controllers and on the keyboard riders. Tim said, open to everybody, do let it ride. Beth is the leader for Zone L. She'll have the same option once we get to there. But Ben Shuilong is riding away here on the front. And Wim is being a great Derny for the chasing riders, to the detriment of Frank Garcia's chances of solo winning this race, as Wim has been a great success. We got Tim wanting to be on audio.
Yeah, Wim's doing exactly what I told him not to, but I said either get out front and get out of the way and don't affect the physicals, or get out of the back. But if they can hold on, they can hold on. But I feel a bit bad for Frank. He blew a lot of matches and then just looked behind him and Wim was still there. So we'll see.
That is my bad. I did hear something else. That is fine, Tim. No, sorry, Wim. If you could just let go of the pace here and move down the back.
Let go already. It's all good.
I see. That is.
Let go.
No, I can definitely understand some frustration on that one. Tough to keep an eye on everything, but same for Glenn. Move on down. Opens it up on the front for Beth, for Badger, and for the rest. Casey Shum here at the back as well. 1.7 kilometers to go, and we see that Beth is at 182, the highest equalized heart rate on the front here. 13 beats higher than the rest, and now about to hit 1 lap to go. We've got 4 racers all within a chance. We got Badger for 3R, we got Casey Shum for Team Cycling Hub, Ben for Team Hive, and Beth York for Team Velocity. Which of the riders on this last lap will utilize this advantage and see who can come over the top. It'll most likely come down to a sprint, and there's no quantum shift available in this race as Beth moves on near the back there. She moves into the inside. She gets on the wheel of Ben Shuilong here. Casey looks like he's getting somewhat tired here. You can see him just having to struggle to stand up and push down the wattage. Now Casey moves on through. Ben in the new kit. Could this be his first race victory in the official Team Hive kit? He moves on the inside here as the road starts to turn left and right here again. at 167. Equalized heart rate is now coming up. Here's Badger as well. Badger was the underdog, the wild card for this race, and so far he looks strong. He's moving it up here. 1,000 equalized watts. He's trying to accelerate. He's trying to get away, but he's getting caught on Casey Shum's back wheel here, trying to slide in, but they're taking each other out, and the effect of this, the result is that Ben Shuilong is riding away on the front here. Casey and Badger were trying to get into the wheel of each other, but due to the uncrashable ability, they just kept slowing each other down. Now, it's not over just yet, but 500 meters is not a lot of distance to make up a 2-second gap. We see from above, Casey Shum is nowhere to be seen. He now pushes on through. Does he have one last sprint in him? He tries. He goes up. 800 equalized watts, but there doesn't seem to be much left. He goes all out here. He's dragging back Badger. He's dragging back Beth. And if they can come over the top here, they may be able to catch Ben on the line. It's 200 meters to go. Badger goes off now. 100 meters, 50 meters, and look at the face of Badger. He's just gonna run out of real estate as Ben Shuilong comes across the line first, Badger second, Casey third, Beth fourth, takes off the glasses, Tim fifth, Ryan, Allison, Wim, Kayla, Glenn, Homer, Nigel. Next on up will be Summit Islands 2 laps with Racer's Edge ability that starts in 6 minutes time. So now I bet you they're happy they get that bit of rest and breathing room. But let's go and hear from Ben Shuilong, who attacked at the right moment. Got a bit lucky that Casey and Badger seem to be taking each other out. But Ben, first race in the new kit, first victory, 100% win rate. That must be pretty good.
Yeah, feels good. I think when you said, you know, is it going to be a first victory for the first race in the kit, that sealed the deal, and I went for it. So I think I'm going to pay the price in this race. But yeah, first proper race, first win. So yeah, that's good. It's good to stretch the legs a little bit after a lovely warm-up. And I'll probably ride the next zone as well as a cool down after this race. So yeah, happy days.
Well, you know, you gotta continue the win rate now. Now, you have a 100% win rate in races in that kit. If you don't win this, you're down to 50%. That's quite a hefty reduction.
That's quite a drop. It's going to be technical this one for sure. So if I can stay upright, I think I'll do well. But we'll see how it goes.
Well, good riding, Ben. We saw Badger towards the end. I mean, the face just said everything. Badger, you got so close in the end there, but I think another 20 meters and you had him.
Maybe. Unfortunately, the race wasn't 20 meters longer, so he got to the right line at the right time. I'm absolutely thrilled. That was a lot of fun. As a newer rider, it's a little easier for me. Uncrashable. You are absolutely right that I was properly tied up with Casey there. I was trying to get in, trying to get behind, trying to get ahead, and just couldn't quite get there. But in the end, the best man won. And I don't know who finished third. Did Beth get on the podium or did Casey?
I think that's actually a good question. I can't actually remember that off the top of my head. That's usually where the scoreboard comes into play. Let's go and have a check with Casey, because you did get tied up near the end there. And Casey, it looked like you and Badger kind of took each other out.
Yeah, unintentionally, really. I think I ended up third. But, yeah, I mean, I was actually trying to pull those guys back. But I was trying to line up with Badger at the same time as Go Hard. And he was doing the same thing. And every time we bumped, it would slow us down. Well, I was just trying to get in front of him and then just bury it. And finally, I just buried it. And he did the same thing in the lane next to me. And so, yeah, that was just circumstance. I was just going to have some fun. Eventually, he did get on my wheel for the really big push to the line. And I sent it as hard as I could. Too bad we couldn't have done that 2 or 3 corners before that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. You know, riding wheels, and then I went hard there for a little bit of the last lap, and then Ben kind of counterattacked it. So just good fun racing there. Big power numbers too. I mean, I looked at the number afterwards, and I could tell we had been soft pedaling all day, because that was a pretty phenomenally big number for me for a 10-minute ride.
That was a good effort. It was a good display from everyone as well. That top four, anyone could win that one. And we could see that you were trying to help bring everybody back. That was evident in the stream. So thanks for making it exciting towards the end. Now, rounding off the group that was in the front was Beth. Just coming up to the end there, Beth, it looked like when they attacked, I mean, you heard Casey say it, pretty phenomenal numbers.
Yeah, no, that was really really good. I like those types of races. You know, you look at them, you're like, oh, under 5 kilometers, and you think like, oh, this is going to be no sweat because you know it's just going to be full gas. But that's fun. I think what happens on that one is people are changing the lanes, trying to get to the inside corner, and also trying to shake you from the draft. So you do lose a little bit of. I wouldn't say like fractions of time, but you also gain fractions of time. So you can still, in those events, do high skill maneuvers. And I did lose the draft there. I was pushing on the front for one of them, thinking like, okay, well, I'll take a turn pushing on the front and then try to use the second to last lap to regroup. And they just pushed a little harder. So yeah, but that was fun. Happy. It's the equalization, I'll just kind of put a shout out to that, is that like I wouldn't be able to race these guys out on the street. So being able to go toe to toe on the skill front, as well as the sorry, Frank, has made it wipe out on the hill. It's just really, really amazing. We all are racing with skill, and with equalization, everybody has a chance to win if they're going full gas. And I just got outplayed on some of those corners and ran out of a little bit of go. I guess I have to move to the chocolate pudding.
We'll move on. Let's get the final word from Jennifer Garcia, because I know she has been anticipating this one today. Jennifer, everybody's got all their money on you. The pressure is...
I am ready.
Well...
No pressure. It's going to happen. We got this.
I like it. Nobody else bother even showing up. Just stand still by the start line.
Yeah, please, everyone let me win, though, actually.
So, as far as I know, it's not your birthday today, so we'll see. That's a once-a-year card to play, but 10 seconds to go. I'll let you get prepared, Jennifer, for this one. Racer's Edge is the ability. You've got one underdog and one weight lifted to help you out. 2 laps of Summit Islands Redux, the toughest map in all of CVRcade. This is a race. You can give it your all, or you can choose to sit up and wait for 10 minutes from now when Zone L begins, which will be led by Beth York and swept by Vanessa Murahan. Off to an early start, it is Jennifer Garcia who's in the lead here, who sits now second wheel, but with a racer's edge, you've got to be careful pushing down this descent, because if you go over the speed here, you've got to start building up the acceleration again, and we see everybody down. Jennifer is at 65 kilometers an hour, 66. Allison goes down. Jennifer just on the outside there, so the corner speed being nailed down. Casey Shum celebrating off camera here as well. Casey, what's the occasion?
I was going 88 kph, and I'm like, oh, I got to slow down way early. And those guys didn't catch that.
Well, definitely, I gotta go back and rewatch that one, because that was close. I was looking at Jennifer, and she just saved it too. So to 2 riders who came into that last corner, very, very hot, and then Casey on the very next corner, 52 falls down as he's down in 6th place now. So Jennifer Garcia, Timothy Tamont, Ryan Goldenberg leading the front, but Jennifer. Coming through here, saying, following up with her words, and she looks to be set so far, but still a few more technical corners before she's at the ascent, where there's 11% at the finish line. Looking further down, Timothy Tamont is not too far back. Ryan Goldenberg, Frank Garcia is there as they break again here. Ooh, everybody getting a bit close. You see Frank slowing down as Tim Fulford is flying through here, making up a few spots, braking very late as he moves on over. And it's a 6-rider group as we enter the first ascent of Summit Islands here. All together, Frank Garcia using his underdog, using his one-way lifted. Same does Casey Shum further down as Frank Garcia just overshoots the corner. Casey's gonna do the very same thing. So 2 riders, 2 rivals, 2 good friends, both going down there as we see Jennifer on the front. She's joined by Ryan Goldenberg, by Timothy Tamon. Impressed by Timothy and by Tim and Ryan to be able to catch up concerning the deficit that Jennifer had created. But seeing Tim coming through the corners and just carrying more speed is currently the difference. But the Racer's Edge, they go so much quicker. 36, 40 kilometers an hour here. Everybody can feel the gradients, but it just goes a bit quicker, so you don't have to suffer for as long. As you can see, dialed in Jennifer. You got Tim Fulford at 203 equalized heart rate here, so he's also feeling the efforts that he's having to produce as Ryan Goldenberg overtakes him on the inside. Can Frank Garcia make it back? It looks like he's definitely trying down in 6th place. If he commits to this, we know he doesn't have any supers left, but this is the sort of map where you can really push over the top, and if you have that bit extra heart, if you have that bit extra effort, you can come on through and you can take the victory. But the front have now crossed the start-finish banner for the first of 2 times, so the last lap is upon us now. Who will it be that will be crowned the champion of Summit Islands the first time around here in Zone K? We do have Zone L starting in 6 minutes and 35 seconds, so if you do want more group riding, chill group riding that is social, that starts in 6 minutes and 30 seconds with Lake Bend and Rocky Mountains once more. As you see Jennifer at 56, oh, just one above there. Closes her eyes, can't believe it. The first time she got away with it, but this time under the pressure she falls down. Until that point, pretty flawless, but when you get to the edge there, especially when someone like Timothy, Ryan and Tim, when you get put under pressure, that's where you've got to push it to the edge, and you happen to just go maybe a tiny bit faster or quicker than you know you should be doing. But Tim is starting the attack back here, but 13 seconds, it's going to be tough. Most likely, it's going to be between our 2 front riders here, Timothy Tamont and Ryan Goldenberg. Now, Timothy is fresh. He sat out Lakeview Corner, and I think he may also have sat out Rocky Mountains. So Timothy cherry picking his battles here, but it's paying off for him as he's currently leading, and he'll be in a drag fest for the finish line with him and the Canadian Ryan Goldenberg. Look at this, 68 kilometers an hour. Not really braking until he has to, so he breaks down to 49. Him and Ryan are tied here at the top with their speeds as they come on through. 10 seconds down to Tim, another 20 seconds down to Casey and Jennifer. It may not be completely over yet for the riders further down as they can push on through. Ryan Goldenberg with an underdog. It's 700 meters to go on the front for Timothy Tamont, but the Velocity rider has started his comeback, his attack to come back here. 700 equalized watts. 4 seconds is the gap. He's going 3 kilometers an hour quicker than Timothy currently. He's trying to get back here. Casey's also making his way back. Jennifer, Nigel. So the third spot is very much up in the air as Ryan now uses his weight lifted. 30 kilograms lighter. He's going 10 kilometers an hour quicker than Timothy, but Timothy counters with his very own. But you can see the gap is shrinking. It's 200 meters to go currently. It's Velocity versus Hive. It's a Belgian versus a Canadian here as they're going the same speed. 100 meters to go. Ryan needs to throw everything into this, but Timothy Tamont at 200 equalized heart rate is going to keep the Canadian at bay and take the victory on Summit Islands. Then Casey Shum, Nigel Doyle, Jennifer Garcia coming across the line 3rd, 4th, 5th. Allison further down. You can see Casey enjoying himself as Nigel Doyle making inwards here, going really quickly. Now, if you did enjoy Summit Islands with Racer's Edge, you can get to do it again exactly 1 hour from now. We'll be doing this again at the conclusion of Zone L as Allison flies on by as Jennifer finishes up. Homer Thompson, Frank Garcia, Tim, Ben, Kayla, Wim, Beth, everybody fighting on through as we go to the last zone of the day, which will be Zone L. We start with Lake Bend and Rocky Mountains for that one. We're going to have Beth York be the leader and Vanessa Murahan be the sweeper. And we'll go chat to Beth once that ride does start and see what the riders can expect with a new leader in the ride. As Tim Fulford, who's done a great job here in Zone K. Good experiences all around by the sounds of it. And hopefully more of the same as we head into the next zone as they come across the finish line. As we see Tim crossing the finish line, let's get a word from Jennifer, because she seemed so confident, so safe, so secure on it. But Jennifer, that crash, what happened?
Yeah, I was looking down at my map, and it was hard to read them. I was trying to do it by memory, and it just didn't work out. I'm so tired. I was hoping I could have, like I did a few weeks ago, a comeback from the crash, but it's really hard when you don't have speed on those uphills. So I wasn't able to, but we're just gonna have to do it again one day, sometime.
Well, there's an hour from now if you want to do it again.
Okay. I said it and then I was like, we need to add something so it's further in the future.
Well, you failed. You can do what Timothy did. Timothy.
Wow.
No, you did not. Well, it doesn't matter. Timothy looked like he cherry-picked his battles there. You could do the same. Come back if you want to try it again. This one will have Razor's Edge, but thanks for adding the entertainment. That was fun to watch. Hopefully we see you back for more here, Jennifer. Casey Shum also came across the line. Looked like all smiles, was having a good time. Casey, I saw you celebrating. I mean, if it wasn't for that crash, it looked like you would have been near the top 3.
Yeah, 2 crashes.
Two crashes, sorry. Missed the second one.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I came up the hill really good the second lap. And I was surprised. I think Jennifer said it too. If you lose momentum on the hill, it's hard to get it back. But if you've got it, you roll up that first section of the hill pretty quickly if you can get around that first corner, which is like a 48 kph corner. But yeah, that was good. That was fun. I wrecked on 2 corners that we normally don't really have to worry about speed on, so I wasn't being super careful there. So now I know. We'll see what we've got at the end of this hour, but at the end of this hour, we'll be 3.5 hours in, somewhere probably in the neighborhood of 75 miles. So the legs may not be quite ready for that in another hour.
And some of those miles have been on Summit Islands, so they kind of count double, if not triple, so we'll see. Hopefully, Casey, you feel it again. Let's go and chat with Beth, because Beth is our group ride leader for this zone. Beth, we've had Zone K, we've had Tim as the leader. What's going to change? What's the objective for this zone?
Well, for this first ride, I see Kayla's in here with me, so if Kayla can perk up her ears. We've ridden together in Rise and Rip, and she's also leading 3 times a week. So I was thinking that she and I could maybe start in the front, so if everyone could cooperate by lining up, we'll be side by side. We'll pull for the first couple minutes, make sure everybody is with us. Let's pull it like Kayla at like 300 equalized watts, give everyone behind us around 250 to settle in. We'll do that in 10 seconds. And then the 2 of us will just peel off the front. We'll go over a couple clicks, spin up now, Kayla to 300, get to the front, move to the inside, to the right lane. And then if she and I can get on the front. And do I see her there? I don't know if she's with me. All right, I'm just going to hold 300. There she is.
She's with you. She's
Kayla,
with
come
you
over to the... Yeah. There she is. All right, I'm going to move over to the left, Kayla. And, all right, I see that's Aaron. Cool. So let's just do, I'll get behind Aaron. There we go. Let's do 2 by. Kayla, you can go ahead and pull up next to Aaron. So we'll do a two train down the way. And use the draft on 2 sides. We'll hold this 300 for about a minute. And then we'll peel off to the left and let the other 2 riders pull through. So it looks like we've got a velocity rider behind me. Aaron is going, bouncing around there a little bit. But rather than getting stretched out in a long single line of peloton, if we're 2 by 2, we can all get draft. And then the name of the game on this one is to try to ride as close to the rider in front of you without bumping. So at the end of the ride, check your bump stats and see how well you did. So right now we see Kayla and Aaron side by side on the front. In about 10 seconds, if they can step over to the left, and I'll pull through with Timothy Tremont. And then Timothy Tremont and I will be the leader. So, all right, guys, give it a try. Let's see if we can do this. Let's make it look pretty. Kayla, move over to the left too. Aaron, move over to the left too. Timothy, let them come through. You can also go like this. That'd be fun too. All right, yeah, sure. Do that. That's fine. Kayla, want to peel to the left? All right, Timothy and I will pull through. You guys just drop on back, get to the end of the train, and then we'll keep going. So
what are the advantages of riding like this, Beth?
Well, one of the advantages is if you share the load, right? When I'm outside and I ride 2x2, Timothy is doing a better job at holding the 300 than I am. Let me come up alongside him so you can still have the right side to draft. Don't be afraid to come up on the right side. We're trying to do 2x2. So if we can show people on the helicopter. There we go. Someone's coming up behind me. Nigel. Thanks, buddy. So when I'm outside, I ride like this just to have a presence if I'm not disrupting traffic, but sometimes it's safer to ride this way. But drafting, really, to take the turn on the front. So let's do 10 seconds, Timothy. We'll just peel off right and left, and we'll let Nigel and Casey pull through. So 5, 4, I'll pull right. Timothy, you pull left, and we'll drop to the back. 3, 2, 1, I'm going to the right. Did he do quantum shift? No, he didn't let people pull through. I'm smart. Ooh, I like that, Timothy. That's a better idea. Let people pull through rather than drop to the back. That's a cool idea. I'll see how far. It's 20 meters. I should be able to drop back a little bit. If anyone on the front starts to feel like they're being disrupted,
how long do you stay on the front? Do you count to like 10?
Well, I mean, you kind of decide. When I'm racing, we don't like to stay on the front anymore than like a minute. In a group ride, if you're doing like a long run, you know, I'll just do it for a couple minutes and then pull off. And then that way you really conserve a lot of energy. But if you're on the front, looks like Nigel's doing a good job of holding it right under 300, Casey too. So I didn't look at the time. If they want to peel off, if that's been a minute for them, they can do that. On this climb too, make sure you loosen up your gears so you're not overpowering, trying to hold a nice steady pace. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. So what?
Okay.
So you've ridden both rides. You've ridden both K and L. I'd be interested to know which one feels tougher. Is this tougher than K, or is this easier once it's organized?
Well, once it's organized, I think for the legs it's easier. Because you can actually focus on staying in front, on the wheel in front of you. I'm talking, so for me it's harder. But I'm still in my tempo zone of my heart rate, and I'm probably overpowering 290 US watts. I don't know. I'd be interested to hear what Ben or someone else on stream has to say.
I was going to say, I can give you a rest here. We can go, because I've got Casey lined up here as well. Casey, very, very different approaches in ride leading here from K to L, from Tim Fulford to Beth. What are your thoughts on pace lining like it looks right now? Because this, to me, looks like a real proper outside pace line.
Yeah, this is very reminiscent of my in real life outdoor fun rides. A group of 8 or 10 guys, we usually ride 2x2. You know, the guys on the front are usually going fairly hard, but not like ripping their legs off, and then everyone behind them can usually chat. I was going to give Beth a hard time. Usually I know when the group ride's getting too hard because I'm on the front and everyone gets quiet behind me. So I knew we were still safe because Beth could still talk. We weren't going too hard.
I think Beth can always talk. Sorry, Beth.
But true. That's okay. It's true.
This is very much, you know, an in-real lifestyle ride here, how you would organize a group ride. It almost ends up being, depending on the, you know, the fitness, but, you know, fitness doesn't matter here with equalization. Essentially, you're doing a mini interval on the front, and then you rest. So it's kind of like an over-under, where maybe you go hard for a minute or two, and then you kind of do what we would call zone 2, maybe for 4 or 5 minutes. And I'm actually struggling right now with I've got to get smoother because I'm I'm hitting him and bouncing back and hitting him and bouncing back. Outdoors, I'd be on the ground by now. So thankfully, the hit doesn't hurt me too bad.
I was going to say as well, because it's not only you bouncing, I assume somebody in front of you may bounce their wheel, which in turn make them bounce into your wheel, and so it's a whole, like, accordion effect.
Yeah, I was doing what I would do outside, actually, just a minute ago, is I saw him coming back to me, and I just slid over a little bit and kind of overlapped him and then came back and dropped back in behind him.
It looks really fascinating. This is the first time I've seen a dedicated pace line. Beth, is this something you've been practicing in Rise and Rips? Because for impromptu with no warning, I mean, this looks pretty well gelled.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that, well, first of all, you know, we've been practicing it in Rise and Rip. Oops, sorry, Ben, if you stay with me at 300, I started talking and on the descent here. Even on the descent, we'll try to hold it. Yeah, we practice it. You know, the thing is that all of these people that are riding in this group ride have different levels of experience outside, but they have a lot of experience in the game. So I'm really just capitalizing on the experiences I've had on the group rides and then just translating it here. So we've been doing Rise and Rip for 6 months now. And, you know, and Kayla's been leading for a while now too. So we've had the benefit of like, oh my God, you can really ride the platform like you do outside. And I know some people will never ride outside. Some people are coming from a non-physical world and playing just non-physical. Maybe one day they'll get a bike, but you really can learn, you know, sort of the fundamentals of the sport. So I love doing this, and we'll do like breakaways. Like we'll say, okay, I think it was Timothy who used quantum shift to come through me to take the lead when I was going to peel off. But we'll do that. We'll practice lead outs and breakaways where we'll chase down the pack, we'll break away, and then regroup to a nice peloton like this. So it's just a lot of fun, and it makes the time fly by. It means it goes by so fast.
I mean, one lap's already ended. I do feel for Vanessa, though, because Vanessa down in 12th place. If we go back and look at her, there's no one down there to draft, I don't believe so. I think she's just sitting here all by herself in a straight line.
Come back, kid. Come back, kid.
Oh, I think Casey's going back to help Vanessa out here. So I did just see that. Everybody's at a nice 2x2, and there's like the broom wagon Vanessa getting an excellent workout.
Yep, I'll peel off here.
I like how Aaron is in here as well, role-playing on his controller, Beth.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You know, I'm very symmetrical, so when I see like the two riders coming up and I can drop back and, you know, he's holding a nice controlled pace, it's beautiful. I think that like one of the things to think about too is if you were, I don't know, you know, feeling like your legs were tired out and you wanted to ride with people, you could still be able to, you know, ride this ride, not physically. Don't forget to flatten your gear, spin it out here. The road turns up. You don't want to overpower it. You don't want to be stomping on your gears. Keep the cadence fast. Yeah, so I think that's a great thing for a coach or for friends who are like, I'm so tired, or, you know, I need to like take a break from the world, and but I really don't feel like riding. You can come in and you can lead a ride. Whoops, there goes my phone. I don't need that.
No worries. You can take a break for a second, because I believe Jennifer wants a rider Q&A. But you guys need to ask us the question. So Mott KG, Jennifer, and whoever else is in the chat, let me know what question you have and who you like it directed to, and we'll go chat. Favorite block story. Well, we haven't heard from Ben Shuilong in a bit, and he did just win Lakeview Corner. Ben, what's your favorite block story?
Oh, that was during the team league, the very first team league, when I was racing as a Pink Panther with Chris Pritchard and Timothy Tamont, and we had a good pace line going, three of us on the Roman Arena and Pantheon track, and Chris was our leader, and we had one person who was with us in our little group of three, and so Chris just gave us instructions with about maybe 800 meters to go. He pulled off to the side, and so did the next man, and then the person on the front, I think it was me, slammed on the brakes, took out the straggler, and then Chris punched it for the win. So that was a pretty cool maneuver back in the early days of Cade.
I remember. That's an awesome story. I remember as well a story. I was being told that during that team league, where the captain or the person who was the captain was the only person who could score points. I remember somebody telling me that in one race, Chris, who was the captain, said, "Go on without me, Ben and Timothy. Just go on. I have nothing left." And then he realized, "Oh, I am the captain." So that is a great story,
Yeah.
Ben. Just shows how long we like. It's amazing the stories, and I didn't even really remember that one. So thank you, Ben. Now I do believe Jennifer actually directed that question towards Casey, but I don't know how the question is supposed to be read. Your favorite block story, but is that you getting block or are you giving a block?
So, is my mic open?
Yep.
Yeah. My best block story actually is very recent, and it's not a block. It was a fail, and I literally started laughing out loud on my bike because it was last Saturday, and Block It Rocket goes to the front, ripping our legs off. This huge line. I'm about sixth in line, and he slams on the brakes, and he just comes straight back through the pack. And I'm like, oh, nobody told Jonathan you can't do that anymore. And then the next race, Rick Woods did the same thing. And you could see you're just riding along, and all of a sudden this guy is just in your lane screaming out the back of the pack. Those were the recent ones. But yeah, I think the good ones, honestly, from a racing and I want to call it like a dance and art form perspective, are the ones that are big risk. Like, it's not uncrashable. You do that last second lane change and absolutely crush somebody's momentum, because those are big risk reward moves. If you make that move a quarter of a second too late, you are piled up at the side of the road. So to me, those are the best if you really want to talk from a gameplay and execution perspective, because there's huge risk, but there's huge reward too.
I remember that Jonathan Heron incident very well as well, and it was so satisfying, I think, for everybody to watch that highlight back, to see him just go through the group. And I mean, there's been so many good moves where, I mean, there's so many to go from. And, you know, the good thing about that question, I'll give Jennifer credit, is that everybody's going to have a story that everyone else may not know as we come to the sprint finish line. I think Nigel is going to take this one that you may not know. And so that's a very deep question that everybody may have an answer you didn't remember. Like, I did not anticipate Ben saying that. I didn't really anticipate Casey saying that either. We've got more questions coming up. And as we head to the next ride here, as this one finishes, if you're setting to join the next event, you should be seeing a portal. You should be seeing a message at the top of the screen right now that is bringing you to the next event here. If Timothy does want to join in the stream, I believe we may have a spot or two for you. So Timothy, reach out to our VMix producer, as it looks like Jennifer will not be taking up the mantle on the next event, that is on Summit Islands. So event 2 coming up here, Beth, Rocky Mountains. Before we continue with the rider Q&A, what can everyone expect? Is it going to be more pace lining? Is this one going to be the same? What's happening on Rocky Mountains?
Well, I think what it would be fun to do is we do start all together, 2x, like we did. And I think that there's a couple straights, there's a couple bridges. I think it would be fun to do an acceleration. Tim did that in K. Takes about, 5.5, 6 minutes to race up the climb at 367. So I'm not really looking for, a sprint, but if you want to do a little breakaway and people want to cover the gap, we can do that. But I'm going to be very regimented at the end, and we'll be relying on the fence not to let people, the force field, not to let people get far ahead of me. So we'll do a little bit of a break, and then I'll slow it down to make sure we regroup. I was sweeping on a Thursday, and I appreciate the skill. It's actually harder to be a sweeper than a leader. So Vanessa, kudos for you for doing back-to-back. It's not an easy thing. So I'll try to make it a little bit easier on the sweeper to regroup on our efforts. And I'll just shout them out, but you can see where the little flats are. That goes up a little bump, there's a flat, up a little bump, and a flat. And everybody can just make sure that they loosen up their gears to spin it out when it's the incline so they're not stomping. So that's all.
Got it. We'll come back once the event begins just to reiterate what we're doing and how we're doing it in case people didn't hear it here, in case they're, filling up their water bottles or getting off the bike, getting a fresh towel or stretching. So once the event starts, we'll go back to Beth and we'll get just another update. But another question I saw from MuttKG was best use of supers. Now that is a question, I think, a very recent question. I see we still have Badger in the chat, and I think that may be a very interesting question to ask as I see him here out of the corner of my eye. Badger, as we make the rounds here in these questions, we've had the best block story from Casey and Ben. From watching the broadcast and from racing yourself, what's the best use of a super you've ever seen on CVRcade?
Oh, that's easy for me, because it's always going to be a little bit about a story that I had, is racing against Vivica earlier this week, I believe on Tuesday. She knows the courses. She knows how to race it. At least in my mind, we were having a little race there for in the Omnium, 4th and 5th place. I believe we were on electric fidget, which basically makes my eyes roll back in my head because there are so many turns, and that's not my expertise. She did some sort of double super combo, and she went from being 15 seconds behind me to 15 seconds ahead of me. It put pressure on me to chase her, which of course made me fall. So in my mind, it was like a sneak attack. She put the gap in, put the pressure on me, caused an error. To me, that's great racing, and I thought, wow, I should learn how to do that. And I think that's part of the fun of the game, is partially it's your pedaling, partially it's your skills. And there are lots of surprises and tension along the way. So that will be my story.
See, whenever I do a physical replay, it's always Vibeke who's, the main competitor. So, that is a rival. That's a good story as well. I'm interested, as I see we have a few riders joining us into the broadcast here. Timothy Tamont is one of them. While that's being set up, we've got 2 minutes to go here. Let's go to Beth just for a second, because we've heard from Casey, Ben, and Badger. Beth, you've been around for a bit on the platform as well, so there's going to be plenty of anecdotes to choose from. But which super usage stands out in your mind as the best of all time that you've seen?
I've seen a lot and been impressed with a lot of it. Most recently was the use of tractor beam by Cycling Hub on Sci-Fi R. But same super, first time I saw it executed in a way that was like perfect and amazing was in the original Captain's League with Monica and Tim Fulford. So it takes a lot of skill. Tim had used it as a lead out, was pulling Monica, and that's when you're being towed. And then he absolutely just launched a sprint. She timed her spin up. She continued with that same power. He stepped out of the way and she took it to the line. And, using it at the start the way that Cycling Hub did in Sci-Fi R, and then, and they did it in pairs, which was such a coordinated, well-oiled effort, and then seeing it way early on over a year ago done flawlessly by Tim and Monica. Again, that was just like, wow, this platform is so amazing with the things you can do. And I just remember it just kind of cracked open my cranium, and it's been awesome to see what other people do. So
I somehow knew you were going to mention that one, because that was the answer I would have given as well, because I think that was the first time we realized the potential of what the platform could offer, because something like that in virtual cycling had never ever been seen before. So that was quite epic. But the riding is about to begin now here, Beth. What is everybody going to do? What are their orders from their leader?
Well, I'm going to start around 300 like last time. Right now, it looks like Glenn and Kayla and Aaron are on the front, which is great. We have uncrashable, so we don't have to worry about that. Our refillable supers will start to come. I think if we just sort of get in a nice line of 2x, again, like we did in the last one, I think it's good practice to do that. When you're riding 2 across, you can always kind of drop back into the draft. What ends up happening? And then it gives people the inside lanes to come around if they really want to. We're not worried about people coming around in a break. I think we'll get a quantum shift here as well, which we can use on a break. But let's settle in 300 on the front, probably like looking 250 for me right now, 58% draft, a little bit of bumping, flatten those gears. And I'll shout out let's see, probably in about 90 seconds or so, we'll give a little bit of a push, but only like 425, like a little push for like 20 seconds, and then we'll settle it back in.
In 90 seconds?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. That gives
Why
us
not?
a quick time to go and chat with somebody who looks like he's ready to drop his first EP. What's the title of your EP, Aaron?
I don't have one yet, but I'm just chilling. I'm big chilling today.
It looks like it. I mean, you are probably the rider that's the best on a controller from what I've seen so far. Good to have you on the stream. While we still have, I think it's like 60 seconds, what's the best use of a super you've ever seen in a broadcast or racing yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm just gonna think from recent memory. The best I saw was I think it was, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Casey on Dark Matter Spire, just using the collection of supers to come back and pass Frank in the races in Zone T, where a lot of times I think it was a weight lifted and then a wind at your back, and he uses the weight lifted up the hill and then waited to use the wind at his back until the weight lifted was done to keep his speed going on the flattened part. Which most people use them both at the same time to try to get the speed up even faster, but he used the wind at his back to hold the speed and came around a lot faster for a lot longer. So I think that one, in recent memory, that's the most impressive one I've seen.
The Casey Shum Appreciation Day continues on here in the broadcast. Thank you, Aaron. We'll go to Beth because I think the 90 seconds may soon be coming up here. Beth, what's the counter looking at?
At the bridge, Kayla and I will take off. Aaron and Glenn, give a second. Use your comeback kid and close it down. Come on, Kayla, let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Give a launch. Glenn and Aaron, wait. Give a launch. And then they can use their comeback kids. Settle in around 400. There's Badger. Nice. 10 more seconds here. And then we'll soften right back down and regroup. Use your comeback kids to come back. Softening. All right. We're going to have another little bump in a second. Make sure you're in the right gear. All right. Wim coming up on the inside. Let's get 2x2s again. I'm going to step to the right. And Casey's coming on through. Casey, you can pull yourself right to the front of Badger. And you two can take the front. Oh, Aaron's up there too. Let's slow it down. Let's get Timothy and Frank and Vanessa with their comeback kids. Let them regroup. A little softer on the front. Nice job, Aaron. So that
I wish
we'll do
we
that
had
again.
Controllers in real life. Sorry, Beth. Just 1 second. I just saw Aaron and Wim come back to the front. I'm like, could we have that in real life? Somebody just controlling.
Yeah, right?
Sorry, go on, Beth.
That'd be so nice. Like, oh, no. Like, you could just be like, that's Lazy Boy. We didn't put Lazy Boy in here. That's always a good one. I always put in my Rising Rep, there's always a Lazy Boy. So you can always have 10 seconds when you need it.
I enjoyed having greater responsibility yesterday as well. That was fun.
Yeah, I know. You were such a good sport. I kind of made each one a little bit longer than necessary, but I guess I was feeling like doing some endurance. So thanks for playing along.
So what next now? Everybody's together. What happens next?
Yeah. All right, 30 seconds. We'll do another little launch. We're going to come to a flat. Right now we're at 2%. We're going to come around the corner, and it's going to get flat. About halfway through that flat, we'll do another acceleration. We'll carry it through the last bump. So if you're watching on your terrain profile, you can see still 2%. It'll go to 0 when we round the corner here. We'll make sure we're all settled in. You know, I'm gonna dump a comeback kid to see if I can get a quantum shift to use that on the acceleration. You can see the grade has gone 0%. Keep the pace here 300. Stay 2 by 2. Nigel says, I'm gonna come to the front. Do it, do it, do it, do it. I like this 20 meter allowance better than 10. I think it's really good. Okay, probably in about 15 seconds we'll be halfway on this straight, and then we'll launch it. Looks like those guys on the front, well, maybe not 750. They're like, are like, I'm gonna go now. That's okay. They can't get that far ahead of me, so like that. All right.
So 10 seconds?
I'll count it in. Yeah, here we go. We'll do it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue this to the top. Push it. We'll regroup on the descent. And we'll do it nice for everybody, right? We're not going to be jerks. We're all going to come back together. Thanks, Nigel. Keep pushing. Still flat. Maximize your draft. Nice job. Glenn with that was nice. Glenn came through with his quantum shift. I still don't get one. Drop it again. Keep it going. I've got 50% draft here. And I'm going 43. Nice. Badger's feeling it. Yeah, step into the draft. That's better. You can still see we're 2 by 2. All right, we're going to go around this corner to the right. Last little bump. And then we're going to coast, people. We're just going to coast once we get to the top. Keep pushing. It's a long one. Keep going, keep going. Dig, 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 dig. Yep. If you're on the back, use those comeback kids. Vanessa, use yours. Last push. Over to the left, 4% grade here. Right over the top. Nice one. All right, -2. Here we go, guys. We coast. Badger, you coast.
So how do you know if you did that correctly? Like, what is a, you know, that move that you guys just pulled off? How do you know if you did it right?
Well, that wasn't, like, we weren't doing a series of power-ups, which we could have done. Like, we could have been, like, very specific in how we used them and when. That was just sort of a big effort on the climb. With that much in a group, unless you were strung out, the comeback kid really wasn't going to help you a ton, but it would make sure that you wouldn't lose the group, which I'm looking at right now. We've got Vanessa a minute back. Looks like we're coming back together. About 41 kph, 44. Make sure we all stay together. Let's all come back to the center. I see some riders up there on the right. Let's regroup. Even if we're 3 by, that's fine too. Let's just try to give everyone a chance to maximize the draft. Okay, I saw some folks move over here. So I don't think there's a right or wrong way on that particular maneuver. I would say that people who are really experienced sort of know the best time to execute with a power-up. So it depends on the riders. Casey, did you have any tips there on that one? I mean, that was just sort of a go up over the climb.
Yeah, I mean, in that scenario, we were all just kind of going together. I never could get a good gap to use the comeback kid. You know, I was looking to use it, and then we got up against the gate and couldn't go anymore. But I mean, yeah, those are just good simulations of like attacking that top section. We rode the top section of that very much like that in a race about a week or two ago. We had I think it was an inertia where we were all sprinting at that tunnel on the flat before that last kick. We'd sprint into the kick and then drop the inertia. And that little simulation there felt a lot like that race, because we didn't have a good super to increase our speed for the inertia. So we had to do it with our legs. So it was sprinting on the flat to go as fast as you could to drop the inertia to get up the hill.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's like, you know, the other thing that's really nice to do in these group rides is do those simulations that you expect would happen in a race, so you can practice it. You know, we ride different maps in our group rides in the mornings, and we use those opportunities to kind of say, oh, you know, here's a good place, or hey, we saw someone do this. Let's try to copy that. Let's try to innovate something new. So a lot of experimentation, a lot of fun, seeing how we're doing here. Timothy on the front. Nice job. I think we're all together. Vanessa, yep, looks like you're really putting in the effort there. Always come back, kid, if you need it. Like I said, sweeping is way harder than leading. Kudos, Vanessa. Good job. So we have another lap, right? Yeah, we could do this all over again.
One more lap.
So that'll be fun.
Same or something different next lap?
Well, I think we should do, everybody likes a sprint to the finish. There's a signpost down here. I'm going to come to the front just so people have an opportunity to go around me so that the force field, so let me come through to the front. And then when we go, we can go ahead and do a race to the finish. Okay, so I'll hold down the front at 300. People can close down. Not this signpost. The road will bend to the left. And then we're going to hit somewhat of a straight. I'll call it out in about, see that post up there on the right-hand side? 5 seconds maybe. All right, 3, 2, 1. Go here to the line. To the line, everybody. Just dig in, and then we'll recover. Go, go, go. I'll try to give you some so I don't hold you back. Use your comeback kit if you need to. It's for the sprint. We'll all come back together. Yeah, that's good, Aaron. You can give me a lead out. Little left here over the bridge. Looks like Timothy's got it. All you've got, last effort. Nice job, Wim. Go ahead. Go for it. No rules. Just dig in. Nice on that quantum shift. Here we go. Okay, Casey, nice job. All right, soft pedal. Soft pedal. Let everybody regroup, recover.
One
nice job,
more lap,
Badger.
everybody. Just so you know, one more lap. That was not the conclusion.
All right, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Like 150, seriously, like 150.
So while you recover,
effort.
Beth, while you sit at 150, we do have Timothy Tamont who joined us in the broadcast
Yay!
here. So, Timothy, there is a question. We are having a little bit of a rider Q&A. So right now, everybody, 150, chill out for a second. We'll hear from Timothy because Jennifer did say that Glenn is better at Call of Duty than you. Can you confirm or deny that to be the case? Oh, you may be muted on your side, Timothy. That was a visual. If a video could actually say words with the audio, nothing coming through, Timothy. It's okay. We'll let you solve it out for the time being. It looks like that is the case. Go back to Beth here. Beth, 150. Everybody has come down. How long do we stay at like a low pace?
I feel like everybody is pushing on the front like they're ready to do more. So my job as a leader is to recognize that people are ready to go a little bit faster. So let's bring it back up. If you find yourself on the front, hold 300. The rest of you hop behind. It looks like we've got, I am behind. I'm going to move over here. Sorry, Badger, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm going to come through. Homer's up there. Aaron's up there. All right, Aaron, me and you. Let's get these guys in a 2x2. Homer, if you want to come in front or in back of me, you can do that. And then we'll just kind of get into that groove again. You can use your quantum shift to phase through if you want to take a turn to the front. Go ahead, Homer. I'll slow down. You can pop in front. Oh, try again. There you go. Badger, if you want to come around too. There you go. So, yeah, 2x. Stay here for about 30 seconds. If you want to peel off the front, we can do that same thing. We can do a couple of pickups, but we do have a race next, so maybe we don't want to push as hard on this one. Maybe we can go round robin and see what people want to do if they want to recover for Lakeview.
Or you could just keep it steady here, then do the signpost sprint once more, and then go
that.
on through just to get everybody down. Now, Wim, I know you're trying to help out in here, my friend. So far, you're looking good. Just make sure that, keep it steady. The name of the game when you're helping on a controller. Look to what Aaron is doing right now. If we can go to Aaron just for a second here, because so far Aaron's been keeping it steady. What's the secret to steady riding on a controller?
It's really tough. That's the secret. I'm just I have like 3 fingers holding down the trigger to try to be at a certain point and try to keep it there, but it is difficult. I'm getting it done though. I'm getting it done. So hopefully I'm helping these other riders, getting them a good draft, trying not to stay too far in front.
No, you're definitely helping out. You and Wim leading out, helping. Yes, I see Wim trying to do the same. So we get 2 very different approaches, but it looks like you're nailing it down. Thank you, Aaron. Now, Timothy, I think your audio did come on there. At least I can see it coming through now.
Yeah.
Well, we already know the answer to the Call of Duty question, so we'll move on. So, best block story in CVRcade. I would like to hear what your story is. Whether it was you getting blocked or you giving a block.
I actually don't know anything off the top of my head here. It's been a while since there was some serious blocking going on to me or from me, so I can't really recall anything too big. But yeah, definitely what Ben said. Like back in the day, the Pink Panthers, there was some spicy blocking going on there. Back in the day when there weren't any like unwritten rules, it was just a bit of dirty. It was fun. So I think I remember there was some tractor beam blocking from the Pink Panthers and then from Cameron's team versus each other. That was a bit of fun, but I don't recall anything specific. I'm sorry.
No worries. Now, the reason that question is being asked is that the chat wanted a rider Q&A, and Mutt KG, Jennifer Garcia gave out some good questions that made the round here. Timothy, group ride here so far. You've ridden both group rides in and out. How do you like this experience compared to what we usually do these Saturday nights?
Oh, it's so different. I'm normally not a huge fan of like the group rides, as I said it before. But it's different. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. So I'll definitely come back Tuesday, or even join in for some rides and rips with Kayla and Bet. So yeah, it's a nice surprise, I gotta admit.
What is it that makes you enjoy it more than you thought you would?
I like this one and previous race. It's very structured. Everybody listens to each other. There's some good bonding going on. So yeah, we're all in the group chat, in the audio widget, the team. So we're just having some fun, talking. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Let's be honest here, Timothy. The reason you like this more is that you're not getting carried by Glenn for once here, so that seems to be the secret.
I'm still getting carried here, so I'm not even mad.
Thank you, Timothy. Good to have you on stream.
One more thing?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, shout out to Aaron here, honestly, for the work he done on the best lap time leaderboards, that spreadsheet. It's very good, and the competition he hosted and will host next week. I really enjoyed grinding for that best time, and I hope more people join next week. Honestly, it was a lot of fun.
I hope so as well. It's been good watching that develop. We'll go to Beth just for a second here before. It looks like the chat really wants everyone's favorite Jesper story. We'll allow 1 or 2, but before we do that, Beth, everything going according to plan? Are we still going for the signpost sprint at the end?
Yeah, I think we'll do that. I'm holding down the front here, around 300. People can draft me. I just came to the front because I was benefiting from the draft. I know we had some keyboard players who were doing it, but I figured I'd take a turn on the front, do some pulling. Totally optional, too, if people are riding these rides. They don't want to come to the front. There's no shame in the draft and working on riding that wheel. The closer you get to the rider in front of you without bumping, you maximize your draft. And I put my mini camera by pressing V into the side angle so I can see. And sometimes, on descents, you glide a little bit, you're coasting, you don't want to bump and lose your momentum, so you can stop pedaling. So there's a number of techniques you can use. So even at a steady pace, there's a lot you can learn. But I'll shout out the signpost again, and we'll finish this one and be ready for the race proper on the next map.
Sounds good, Beth. Now, we'll entertain this question by two people. I see Casey said, oh yeah, Jesper stories. Well, Casey, your name has been drawn. I don't know if you have any, like I can't imagine it, but is there any embarrassing Jesper stories?
I don't know about embarrassing, but I've got a Jesper story. It's a memory. Jumping in the CVR virtual cockpits, 3 of us, Jesper, me, and another good friend of ours, Kim Little, for unequalized racing. Tim Fulford shoving a camera in Jesper's nose while he's trying to keep up with Kim and I, who are just warming up for the CVR World Cup. Jesper was a good sport. I think we had his heart rate at about 190, and we basically said more. It was 200 or bust, and he sucked it up and finished the race. I think he pays us back now, though, on stream when he comes to us and asks us those questions, right after we throw a bottle or something, and we're trying to keep it PG. But that was another one of those times. It was a ton of fun. But I can. You guys have all seen Jesper ride. He's done some live streams here lately. He'll suffer. He'll go into the pain cave. I think we pushed him beyond the pain cave that day, and we had a little bit too much fun doing it. I think all but Jesper, but that was a ton of fun.
I remember looking over, and I could hear you or Kim saying, is he at 200 yet? Tim, is he at 200 yet? And Tim went, no. You went, okay, we're going to up it a notch. I was like, you...
No, we never left you. We never left you. We never dropped you. We stayed with you, and we pulled you the whole way.
I'm not sure that classifies as pulling. I mean, you definitely did something. But, I mean, anything you pulled was my heart rate through the roof. That was good fun. Definitely a fun memory. Something I'll never forget. But I'm just thankful that we have equalized racing. Now, not that I'll ever beat you, but at least now I have a chance to beat you, Casey. And that's why I'll suffer more. So... that's good, though. Thanks also, Mutt KGSE in the chat. Thanks, Casey. That is a good story. Now, the signpost sprint is coming up. How far away are we from it, Beth, currently?
I have a little bit of my widget is getting upset with me. There's a little bridge that we go across. I'm watching here on the stream. I can see I'm on Casey's wheel. Looks like we've got 2 kilometers to go, so we're not quite there yet. It's about 1K to go is where that signpost is approximately. There's a little bump in the road. Right now we're still down the descent, twisty turny, so probably within a minute we'll be ready to go for that last sprint.
I'll help with the visual cue as we see it. So about a minute away, everybody, and then we'll have a bit of a signpost sprint to the finish line. It was Timothy Tamont who came across the line first. We'll watch this one through. We'll use the time between events. We'll ask one more question. We'll ask Timothy best Jesper story. So we'll give him the time then to answer that one. Just like Casey, I'm sure he does not have anyone, or at least any story that is worth mentioning, which is good. I see the chat is loving. 4 times 4 is 12. That is probably one of the funniest clips I've ever seen of myself, at least, because I totally blanked out. I don't even remember saying that. And you watch the clip back and I'm like, 4 times 4, that is 12. Yes, I move on. Here we got Kate. I'm like, did I just say that? Anyway, guys, we got the hill coming up here. There's a left-hand turn, 1 kilometer to go. We're not at the signpost sprint just yet, I don't believe here. Beth is pushing to the front to make sure that she's out of the way so everybody can push on through, I do believe. Is that what you're doing, Beth?
That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to, people have 20 meters. I believe this is the signpost here, just inside 1 kilometer. 3, 2, 1, I'm crossing it. Go for it.
Go, go, go,
Kill
go.
it to the line. 0.8 kilometers. Go, go, go.
Kayla with comeback kit, Aaron Starling on the front as well. Timothy tried to use his comeback kit, but he got nullified rather quickly here. He's trying to stay with it. So this is a race. The race is on now for the last kilometer. Open up the legs here. Try and see if you can beat the front here. Beth cheating the system, getting out of the way so her fence doesn't become an issue, but in doing so, she's kind of left everybody else behind on the road. Kayla is trying her best. Wim has got 2 comeback kits as they run out the second he catches Glenn here. He's at 70 kilometers an hour, and that is Wim Moisen flying through here on a controller. He's going up against Aaron Starlin here, and with Quantum Shift, he just has too much speed. So the controllers first and second. Aaron is helping out Beth here. Then Timothy, his comeback kit comes back. Aaron's still busy writing lines down, getting the beat down for his EP as Timothy Tamont looks quite tired after that spin. That's good. That means he doesn't have the ability to tell the story. As Badger comes across the line next, and we see all the celebrations, and we see the head shakes as Wim Moisen first across the line. We've got 2 events up next, Lakeview Corner and Summit Islands. These will be races, so if you opt to race them, have fun. If you opt to just ride them, that's good too. So let's head over to the next event, which is, I think it should actually take us there automatically in just a second. There is the portal that brings us to the next event, Lakeview Corner. Now, Timothy, I hope you've not caught your breath just yet. Before we get into the racing, I promised to chat to people. Do you have any Jesper stories you want to share?
There's so many Jesper stories. Where to begin? Tour of Flanders twice. Night out in London. You pick it. Oh. Yeah, no, definitely the best Jesper story memory is the first time we did Tour of Flanders together. That was real epic. What is it now? 3-4 years ago? First time we met each other, straight ahead, 12 hours on the bike, I think it was. No, 10. Yeah, that was an epic ride, and seeing my dad next to the road cheering us on, him hopping in his car, going to the next checkpoint. Yeah, there's some good memories we had. And then the CVR London event, the night out we did with, was it Ian, was it?
Yes.
Oh, you don't want to talk about it? Okay, no. No details
I prefer
will
the
be
Tour of
shared.
Flanders story much more because that was fun. I do think Tour of Flanders is a sportive in Belgium. Timothy and I, really the first time we really met each other, we went and did a massive ride together. Because of Timothy, I got to finish it. It was so much fun. I mean, the thing I remember the most, Timothy, is you taking a left-hand turn, but never actually turning your bike, which meant you went straight into the road, planted your front wheel. But don't worry. And on that note, chat, I hope you have fulfilled your quota of Jesper stories. Now, here is the racing in this one. We're going to say, so if you are a controller rider, just to keep the same level of expectations, I did say we'd let Beth rule this one, but to keep the same level of expectation all the way throughout, guys, if you are on a controller, stay back. Stay back. You can be 10th, you can be 12th, you can be down, but don't, it's a tough one, because if we had the majority of non-controllers, non-physical, I think we could do, unleash the hounds and go crazy. But there are physical riders in here, more so than non-physical, so if you stay near the back, you help out, I think that's fair. Then, on Summit Islands, again, same here. So otherwise, what you can do is hopefully jump on the bike or jump on a keyboard. Now, the controller is a bit stronger than the keyboard, but the same, again, goes to the keyboard. Kind of just stay off the back and let the physical riders have fun on this one. Happens, Wim. But here we go. 3 minutes to go. We get some racing on here. Casey, I know you said you were going to see how your legs were feeling when we got to this point. How are they feeling?
We're okay, I think. We'll find out here in the next, 20 minutes or so. This will end my ride for the day. I gotta look at my overall time now. We're 3 hours and 16 minutes in, so it's a big day on the bike, that's for sure. But this is good training for me.
No Summit Islands.
Well, we'll do both of them. Yeah, we'll finish out the hour here. Yeah, I have to concur with Timothy on this too. if I would have got on the bike 3 hours ago and just stared at the platform without the other people, the platform helps, but without the people, at an hour 20 minutes, it gets pretty mind numbing. If you don't have something to keep you interested, whether that's chasing lap times, racing with other people, the camaraderie, like there's got to be something more to it than staring at a number. And that's what a platform like this, and then the group ride format does. It's allowing me to get a 3.5 hour ride in, where I feel like just 10 minutes ago I started, the group portion of it, which is, an hour and 45 minutes in now.
See, when Casey says the people, we all know he just means me, everybody. He comes here to talk to me for 2 hours on the stream. That's what he means, of course. On that note, that's not the case. Let's go to Beth, because I think she wants to talk a bit about workouts.
Hey, yeah, no, Casey was just saying the different ways you can use Cade and the group rides, the racing, the chasing lap times. And right now in the classes feature, you can create your own workout and ride with a bot that helps pace you. So, it feels like you're not riding alone. I did like a 3x30 endurance ride on a map with that pacer doing a high endurance level, and I was doing the same thing with the bot, just kind of doing pace line breakaways, dropping back, and then sort of sitting in for 20 minutes. So I'll send him a note if he wants to try another way, because he's definitely an innovator, and I think he'll really like that feature. 30 seconds to go time. I'll stop talking.
Well, now you have the luxury that you don't have to talk and ride at the same time. You can commit to racing or commit to just sitting up. So, see, Beth, he was fourth in the last one. I'm expecting first in this one. Badger is still here as well. 15 seconds to go. We'll see if he can move one spot up the podium. This race an hour ago, he came second. But Ben Shuilong is not here, so maybe that'll be his opportunity to move one up. He's been getting better and better here. Let's see what happens as the gate gets dropped here. 800 equalized watts out of the gun. 124 equalized heart rate. So we see Jennifer has gotten in on a controller as well here. I think she may still be in the stream. She is. So we'll go and chat to her. We see her out of the corner here. Jennifer going out of her way to buy a controller. Actually, I think KG actually got a controller, but as long as you make sure you stay out of the way of the physical riders, or it could be the revenge of the Garcias and come in here and just wrecking ball all the physical riders out of the way. Never know. We'll see what Jennifer decides to do. 3.6Ks to go. Casey. Allison is also in here. Now, Allison was on the stream on Thursday. We got to see her back in, fully kitted out with the aero helmet, the skin suit and everything. Good to see her back on the platform and back in the stream. She's one to look out for in the racing here. Again, I noticed that Timothy Timon has sat up. It looks like he's waiting for Summit Islands up next year. So selecting his races. And he did win the last Summit Islands. But what can he do for this one? Casey Shum, though. Comfortable watts on the front here. 302 equalized watts. 360 equalized watts. He's got the advantage here, and I think he realizes that too, so that's why he just keeps the pressure on. He is hoping and thinking that Beth and Badger will break before he does, which none of them have any draft, so it comes down to who's got the most left in their legs at the current time of riding. I've been very impressed with Nigel Doyle as well today. He sits in fourth again. He was meant to be in the broadcast, but unfortunately due to some internet issues weren't able to be in here, but he has been getting better and better at CVRcade, and it's really showing. But the same goes for Badger as well. First lap coming to a conclusion here. A rider from 3R out of Ireland. He's been getting better and better. Can he use that to his advantage? The last time on Lakeview Corner today, the difference was simply Casey and Badger both wanting to get on each other's wheel and accidentally slowing each other down. They won't be making that same mistake this time around, but we do see 3 of the same 4 from the previous race making it to the front. But Casey preserving energy now. He's done a bit of an effort on the front, and he has limited the field down to 3 riders as he moves on over. And there it is. There it is. clip it, put it in the game, make it an emoji, and it's sell out in less than 30 seconds. The Casey Shum. Let's take a turn, everybody. Let's work together. We can just imagine Beth saying, okay, now Aaron, now Casey, move to the right, use your quantum shift, let Badger come on through. But this is a race. This is not a group ride, as we see Beth York sitting at the back here, coming on through. Mutt KG also saying Casey's signature hand signals. That is definitely as stable to the platform as Casey moves on over. Badger is sitting on the wheel. They're both at 170, 165 equalized heart rate. Beth has been a bit higher today, but she must be perhaps feeling a bit fresher than the rest. Can she use that to her advantage? In the last race on this map, she did lose the draft at the very end. Will that happen again? She'll be attentive this time, but if the right move goes to the right time, it can be difficult to follow it. 1.5 kilometers to go here in the race on Lakeview Corner. Last lap is coming up. They've got the left-hand turn here, and the usual suspects on the front as Badger just bumps into the rear wheel of Beth York there. There's no one crash. Sorry, there's no quantum shift on this one. So the only way to get past another rider is to choose another lane and move around them. So in the sprint here, you've got to be careful with your lane selection. It will matter a lot. And right now, Badger is boxed in as Casey Shum keeps him to the right. But Beth York opens the door, opens the box, and Badger springs out of it like a jack in the box here. So we see 1 kilometer to go. Casey is upping the pace here. 500 equalized watts from Casey Shum. 179 equalized heart rate. This is his move once again. He's trying to break the draft and he's succeeding. The draft percentages for Badger and Beth are dwindling, but here comes Badger. Badger at 800 equalized watts with 800 meters to go. He looks like he's got the most left in the tank here of everybody. He gets back on the wheel. He doesn't go over the top. He opts to sit on Casey's wheel. He thinks he can take him in the sprint and doesn't need to go over the top. Will that be the right decision? Well, we'll know in 500 meters time as the finish line is coming up. Casey moves to the left. Badger accelerates again. 400 meters. Badger just sticks on the wheel like glue. Casey moves on over. We're in the last 400 meters. Neither of them have gone yet. Badger looking at the screen, looking around. He comes to the front here. 300 meters to go. No one has gone just yet, but there they go. 800, 1,100 equalized watts from Badger. He is breaking Casey Shum with 100 meters to go. Look at the determination on the face, the facial structure. The Casey Shum side buckle. And Badger takes the victory here on Lakeview Corner. Good fight from Casey. Good fight from Beth as well. Get Allison, Nigel. You get Wim, who lets the other riders cross the line. Wim, I'm a personal fan of yours. So happy to have you out here, man. You rock. Same for Aaron Starlin, who, what? Is this? What is this, Aaron?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm doing my best Victor impression.
Well, you need to be falling
You remember the other
asleep.
day when he accidentally put his face on there, and this is what he looked like?
I do remember, but I remember him, like, he had his hair out. Like, you got to put the hoodie a tiny bit back and have the hair out and, like, oh, sorry, that's...
I can't do it.
So, Vic is making all these emotions, but he doesn't know that you're trying to imitate him right now. So, now he gets it. His face. Oh, it's so funny. Oh, that's good, Aaron. I'll give you that one. All fun and games. Let's go and chat to Badger, because that was one heck of a finish. Badger, I mean, so close in Zone K, then in Zone L you get it, but it didn't look like you got that one without trying. You had to dig pretty deep, it looked like.
I certainly put some effort in, and I think I can also consider myself lucky, because maybe no one noticed except for me, but in map 4 today, I actually missed that event, which was probably a pretty hard race, because I was changing the dressing on someone who had a knee operation yesterday. So I slipped out and slipped back in and probably saved a couple of extra matches. So that's the first time I've ever won a race. It was really enjoyable and fun. I was surprised that I was there, because like Casey, I feel like I've gotten a great workout here. I don't know if I've worked off 2 Big Macs, 2.5 Big Macs, but I have definitely burning some calories, having fun. And to echo Casey's comment, time flies when you're on this. Absolutely flies.
Well, you know who to thank once you get off the bike. If it wasn't for, that emergency in map 4, who knows? Maybe it wouldn't have been the first victory, Badger. Good to see the celebration. I like the racing. I see Casey also saying GG in the chat. Casey, that was close. I mean, that was so fun to watch.
Yeah, I knew the gas tank was running low there, and I put in a really big dig early on the last lap, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. I didn't know what I would have at the end. Badger attacked at the right time there for the finish. I was hoping to go late and get a sharp hit for a sprint, but Badger and I have known each other for a very long time, and he has watched me finish a lot of races, and I think he knew with where I was at in fatigue-wise on the day, and that going a little bit longer versus the last 2 corners was going to be in his favor. But yeah, I mean, it's a ton of fun. I went really deep there to see what the legs had. They came really close to pushing back. So we'll see what we've got here. This is a little more varied effort, so it may not be as bad, but that steady effort, we're getting close to some cramps there. So, but that's good.
Don't worry, it's only Summit Islands up next, so you should be cramp-free until the end here, Casey.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, this track is a little bit different with the Razor. It's not quite as evil with the Razor as long as you stay on your bike. But yeah, still not my favorite track, but I actually enjoyed this with the Razor earlier.
Well, we will see who can stay on the bike and utilize the full effect of the Razor's Edge ability. Last time up, it was Timothy Tomont who won this map. Timothy strategically sitting out Lakeview Corner and going for this one paid off last time. Why Summit Islands over Lakeview Corner? What's the difference?
It's a lot more technical. Plus, just a lot more technical. I enjoy it a lot more. It's not easier in any way because the hill, yeah, you got the Razor's Edge ability, but everybody has it. So, like last race, I had a 6 second gap to Ryan, and he got into under a second in the end there. Because, yeah, everybody has the ability, so you just got to keep pushing, and it's just as hard. Plus, there's the added technical section on the downhill with the ability, so I like it a lot more, so that's why I just set out and hope to do well here again.
Well, good luck on this one. Somebody who also wants to do good on this one, but looks like she's jumped in on a controller here, Jennifer. No chance of us, convincing you of jumping back on the bike?
I can't get back on the bike. I want to get back on the bike, but I can't get back on the bike.
Why can't you get back on the bike?
I don't want to make the bike make so much noise, and I don't want to burn all the matches with my roommates. Too much noise being made for too long.
Well, you send them in our direction. We'll have Casey. We'll have Badger tell them what's up. Then we'll see.
Well, are you gonna let me win it on controller? Come on, just a free pass.
Well, I don't know. Well, first of all, you have to win. I mean, there's Aaron, there's women here, there's Glenn, so the competition is stiff. I think.
Wow, no faith.
I don't know. I think we'll keep the expectations the same. Make sure to stay behind the rest in here. You know what? You can try and beat the other controllers because then you would have beaten them anyway.
Okay.
So that I believe that's fair game for everybody in here. Make sure that everybody has a good experience. Good luck, Jennifer. The rest of the riders on controller as well. Wim, Aaron Starlin in here, or Victor Starlin today is maybe the better name to go by in here. Stage name. So you see Casey Shum spinning up the bike here. 2 laps of Summit Islands Redux. It's got Racer Edge is the ability. 1 weight lifted that makes you 30 kilograms lighter. 1 underdog that gives you 50 extra equalized watts for every person ahead of you for 10 seconds. Racer's Edge as an ability makes it so that you cut through the air at all times much more than you would normally. Again, Wim, if you're listening in, same rules do apply as the other other races, make sure you stay out of the way of the physical riders and stay towards the back and maybe help out anyone that needs a bit of help. But I think the same expectations as this one as the other races. This may change as we go forward. This might change what the rule set is for physical, non-physical, but this is a journey for us. It's a experiment here as Wim and Allison go down. Timothy is being pushed here by Casey as well on the front. I am hearing as well that Aaron Stalin may have a bit of an announcement regarding next week's challenge. We'll get to him as this event does conclude. Casey, Timothy, Nigel Badger down in fourth. Homer Thompson here as well, who's riding. Vanessa, who is the unsung hero of the day, riding 2 zones back-to-back as sweeper and then racing as well, as Timothy has gone down on the front. Casey, though, flawless so far as he's been pushing it on the front. He got the initial gap on the rest, and he's just been cementing that gap now as he's got a 10-second lead on the rest. You can see his speed management there at the top. 68 kilometers an hour, slowing down here just to make sure that he doesn't crash. He knows a crash has big implications on his speed and on his time out on the map as Timothy is closing it down here. You can see him leaning in over. Looks like he needs to get himself a pair of the CVRcade handlebar controllers you can get from the hardware store. As Timothy says, yes. Oh, I think that was Timothy trying to say, give it to me. But when you won like $4,000, and I think the controllers cost like $40 or $75. Not exactly sure what the exact pricing of it is, but I can tell you this: it's not $5,000 or $4,000. So Timothy pushing it on through. Maybe with an investment of a bit of money, you can make more money back if you streamline your setup and reduce the lag between your output from your brain down through your fingers. As we reach the halfway point in the racing, Casey has been flying, and so is Badger here as he feels the gradients on his bike. Homer Thompson and Allison Kubota pushing it here as well. This is Homer Thompson's favorite map. This is where Homer Thompson just, flies. I don't know how he does it. I don't know what the secret sauce is, but it's like we land on the tropical island of Summit Islands, and he just goes whoosh, flies up the map, flies up every incline. Same thing goes for Allison. They just have a knack for when the gradients go up, but is it enough? It's a 15-second gap, a 10-second gap now as it's coming down as Allison is cresting over the top up to Casey Shum, who is currently leading on the frontier, but you can see on him, he looks like he's getting tired. We know that, potential cramp may be looming around the corner. The fatigue is kicking in here, and he's got to keep 2 of the biggest engines behind him, which is Allison Kubota and Homer Thompson. Also, Vanessa Murahan at 2... you would have thought 2 zones of sweeping would kind of tire down the legs. For Vanessa, it's done the opposite. It's like she's just been, fueling up. She's got a break here, though. 80 kilometers an hour. She is coming into this corner hard. 65, 64. She goes over the corner. Good thing she kept her life vest upon her, as Homer Thompson has been distanced by a very strong Allison Kubota. And it looks like our race is down to 2. Casey Shum on the front. Allison almost at the edge of her seat there as she just manages to slow down in time. But Casey Shum looks calm and secured. He's got it in the small ring, it looks here, as he's pushing through the cadence, just making sure to keep the speed high. 70 kilometers an hour, 72, not breaking this time. He's at 65, 55, braking in this one, coming through the next corner. He's got 1 kilometer to go now, Casey Shum, out of the US of A, as Vanessa crashes again. The adrenaline kicking in here, but solid effort from everybody so far. Beth, Aaron, Kayla, Wim, Nigel, Badger, Vanessa, Homer, Allison, and Casey here on the front, using his weight lifted, becoming 30 kilograms lighter for 10 seconds as he pushes on through. He's got the underdog super as well, but won't be much use as there's nobody in front of him currently out on the map. He's got 400 meters to go, and you're going quick when you're sliding out the corners going uphill. So Casey Shum maybe looking at a new best time on the leaders segment here if he can finish this one off. 700 equalized watts. He wants to give this one everything. He wants to really push on through. He knows that there might be a new best time at the top. As he looks at the screen, he sees the avatar slide out. He's like, no, 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 I got so close. But he keeps it under control. Last 200 meters, last 50 meters, and Casey Shum comes across the top and wins the race, and we get the celebration as well. Well done to Casey Shum for winning Summit Islands. Homer Thompson, Allison Kubota up next. Allison will finish. I mean, if Casey didn't put out such an amazing effort, Allison would have been right on his heels, because she too really just pushed it here. It's Homer, Vanessa, Badger. We have Vanessa and Badger here. That is a fight shaping up as they're on the inclines here. As you can see, Badger pushing on through. 150 equalized heart rate. Vanessa at 200. So the fight here for 4th and 5th very much in the balance, as Vanessa has just been stuck around 200 and 200 equalized heart rates here. So let's see, Badger, Vanessa, which of the two are going to have the bragging rights? Homer Thompson is going to come across the line next. Great ride from him as well. But the fight is not over for the 4th spot here. Vanessa goes to 208, 209, 210. Do we have 220, Vanessa? 213, come on! Go on, 214. Do we see 220? She pushes with everything. 215. Absolutely amazing effort from Vanessa Morahan, who gets up to 207, 219, 220 equalized heart rate from Vanessa Morahan. That is phenomenal. Nigel, Aaron, the rest, as they cross the finish line. Let's go and chat with Casey Shum. Casey, what got into you on that map? I mean, from the gun, you just flew.
Yeah, just finishing up a good long hard ride. Making sure Timothy had to work for that one if he was going to sit out. So I had to give him something to chase. But that's all I got. I'm cooked. That was a ton of fun. Staying on your bike and hitting the hill right with that razor, it makes all the difference. And this is a fun track with the razor. That is a fun race. That hill is still hard, but it is not quite the punishment that it is without the razor.
Sounds like Razor's Edge has the ability to make many maps just feel very differently, because Country Rally is another map we've done several times with Razor's Edge, so definitely something for the events team to experiment more with in these times. But Casey, great effort. Just a bit further down, we had Badger versus Vanessa. And Badger, it looked like Vanessa was just on a mission. She hit 220 equalized heart rate. How was the last event of the day for you?
Talking to me, Jesper, or Vanessa?
Yes. No, you Badger.
Oh, I was absolutely drained. I'm really impressed with Casey's skills in terms of conserving energy and getting a big gap on us. But I have to say that the way that Vanessa passed me and the way that Vanessa stayed away from me was reminiscent of that story that I told about Vivica. She came out of nowhere. She put a gap in. I never saw her again. So absolute kudos for her for taking me out there. She had a great finish to what I thought was a great day. And again, big thanks to her for doing all that sweeping, because that is tough work back there.
Yeah, massive shout out to Mrs. Morahan. Good effort all around today. Thank you, Badger, as well. Congratulations on your first CVRcade race victory as well. Good to have you in the stream. Now, Aaron Starlin, I believe you have an announcement to make, or should I say Aaron Victor, I don't even know at this point what you guys are going by. What's the announcement in terms of your competition?
All right, so next week, starting Monday, it's going to be both physical and on controller. So there's going to be separate competitions, one for physical, one for controller. And both of them are going to be the best Summit Islands time. So I figured it was good after we just did this, the best Summit Islands time. I'm sure it's going to be fun for those physical riders that want to get the best time. And it's just the best time for that week. And then I'm not going to require someone to record. You don't have to record it if you just like have a picture of the time that you get, or something similar. I would prefer recordings just so other people can see it and know the best ways to ride it. I think it'll make everything more competitive. But we're just gonna, try to have some fun, try to get people to have the best times, and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully more people get involved this time. I won't be putting money on the line because
you'll lose more money.
Yeah.
I get you. Well, thank you, Aaron, for putting on a great competition. Feel like both physical and non-physical will be a good addition. Let's finish here with Beth York here. Great racing, great riding, great viewing, great chatting from everybody. It's been a pleasure spending our Saturday in your company. Beth, you had the pleasure of leading 2 of the group rides. That was really fun to watch. Like 2 up pace lines. How can people, if people want to do this and they don't have, time to do KNL, how do they get involved with Rise and Rip?
Well, we do that Monday and Fridays, 5:35 a.m. And certainly if people are looking to do it more often, I can set up some events in other time zones. I try to do like a specific thing per map. So like maybe we're working on cornering, maybe it's pace lining, maybe it's just obstacle avoidance, maybe we're going to chase some lap times knowing that we've got that lap challenge that Aaron's doing. So I'm happy to make it a repeatable event. I know that Homer's led some as well, but definitely with this group of riders in here, I think that all of them, if they haven't done a group ride before, maybe this has opened their mind about how they might want to host their own group ride, and maybe a team would do one as well. So Rise and Rip Mondays and Fridays at 5:35 a.m. PST, and also hit me up with a message or on CVRcade Riders, and I can help you configure some events and give you some ideas if you want to lead your own.
Thank you very much, Beth. I hope everybody takes her up on that offer. And to everybody else who was in here today, to Jennifer, to Badger, to Timothy, to Tim, to Aaron, to Ben, to everybody else who was in the broadcast and made it good, thank you so much. Nigel Doyle as well, Mutt KG, Vanessa, Jennifer Garcia in the chat as well for the Q&A question. Do that, athletes. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back on Tuesday with the same zones. That's zone E, K, L, and T. But until then, we'll see you, so stay safe. But no, Beth York goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marbles. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.